trades a boom in a financial storm. Man with her papers, Epstein in the shade. Conflicts of interest in the deals they made. Two-faced riches lying in their pockets. Preach to the people, but cash in the lockets. Say one thing, then flip the script. Public trust sinking while their wallets get thick. Margins for my bets before the big shot. Pelosi's gains climb and connect the dots. They legislate loudly, but whisper the banks. We're left with the fallout, the cashing in the banks. Trunk's hotels ringing cash registers loud. Family deals hidden under the crowd. Luther and Bird with pandemic stock. Selling off shares before the shock. Bondi's gone as Epstein shade. Justice for sale and the deals they made. Conflicts of interest, the anthem we shout. Expose the corruption, let's call it out. Step right up, see the insider show. Politicians profit while the rest don't know. It's a circus of greed, a carnival crime. We'll laugh as we sing, but it's truth every time. Two-faced riches, hypocrisy reigns. While we juggle the bills, they're buying new chains. Conflicts of interest, the anthem we shout. Expose the corruption, let's call it out. Conflict, conflict, conflict of interest. Conflict, 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 conflict of interest. Oh yeah, yeah, conflict of interest.
Come on in here and grab a seat, Miss Nadine. And Cheating. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to cut you off right there coming in to start the show, but I want to welcome you both to the show today. Thank you, Cheating, for being with us tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. I just want to turn the camera on real quick, say hi to everybody. I used to get excited when Mike or someone would turn their camera on, so I can't replace Mike, but I can turn my camera on real quick and say hello to everyone. Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, we're good.
Cheating.
Thank you, Cheating. He is not a robot.
Yeah, he's not a robot.
That's proof of life right there.
Anymore.
Right.
Go ahead, Nadine. How was your day?
How's
everything going up there?
It's
Give the
good.
report.
What?
I'm to say it's good.
It-
That's what my daughter would say whenever she come home from school. I'd be like, "How was school?" It was good. And that was it.
Nothing to
Like-
see here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm rubbing my hands together. What am I gonna do? No, everything's fine. We're something happened with my car, but whatever. You know, it's as long as I figured it out. You know, like took it and you know I'm gonna deal with it. It seems like I don't. But back off.
What happened with your car? You had a banana in tailpipe or what?
No, nothing that dramatic. I just there's something about pushing down on the gas. It's not going like it's not. Something happened in that and there. Like I know my cars. You know, like I know because from driving so much in sales. So yeah, I just took it to the local guy and he's gonna see me tomorrow. No, you know, whatever's supposed to happen, you know. Can't get upset about that stuff. And still working on puzzles. Puzzles are a really good way to just get lost in like thought or not think. And then especially with music, it's really good to be able to go back. Or what I'm finding is go back into different music like Culture Club and different things like in the 80s and even 70s because I was really little then. But you know, you just go you listen to this music and then it has different times of your life pop up, so it's kind of good. I think I don't know, I just kind of do stuff and figure shit out. I don't know.
Well, me, thanks for asking. Wait, where's my button? I got my button, you guys. Well, I can start the show. Let me figure something out here. Hey, me, I've been humbling myself lately. Sometimes I gotta watch what I say. I don't know. Some this whole week's stuff hasn't been coming out of my mouth right. So, I've humbled myself and regrouped, did some yard work, and I'm back in the flesh.
That'll
Thank you,
work.
Cheaty.
Welcome to the Truth Train 88 Truth Train Tribe. Welcome to the Roar Room and Chat in the Mornings. Enjoy your show for the evening. This is just a disclaimer and entertainment purposes only. We share things to the best of our knowledge and we come in love and peace as one big family, and you're all welcome. Enjoy the show.
You forgot to buckle up, Buttercup part.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
That was a good video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay, I'll
forget,
have to do,
buckle up, Buttercup.
I'll do a buckle up one on the boat. I'll take a bunch of tie
There
down.
we go.
Tie down. Watch. Okay, I'll do that.
That would be cool.
Cool.
Then the as long as the boat doesn't sink and I can't get the buckles off quick enough.
Yeah, don't do that. That would mess up.
So I want to thank everybody for being here. Welcome to the War Room. It is February 3rd, 2026. So we have a couple things we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to report on the latest situation that just occurred at the Sean Ryan show that opened up a whole can of worms about things that are being covered up in the Ozarks, as you could tell by the title, Buried in the Ozarks.
One of many, I'm sure.
So we went down a rabbit hole. It ain't really a rabbit hole. It's kind of like on mainstream. I mean, it's been reported about. But what's going on? What's being buried in the Ozarks is children going to so-called Christian camps, right? Getting abused, and then having to sign NDAs
So they can't talk about it.
so they can't never talk about it. And that's why you're not getting all the reports out there, right? As far as the abuse is concerned, because, and even some of these kids have committed suicide over the years
Because they can't talk about it.
because they can't talk about it. There's reports of these people riding around naked on four-wheelers. I mean, the stuff that was, it's going, there's Bible study and hot tubs hour
Nick,
where kids and adults get in a hot tub and do Bible studies,
that's just, yeah.
right?
This went on for years.
They get out, run around naked in the hot tub, go inside, play sexual games with these little young boys, and then when they go to report it, they make them sign NDAs and tell them that they have fallen away from God, like blaming the victims, and it's been covered up for decades. Well, it's all coming to the forefront. One of the camps that was involved in what we're discussing today sent Sean Ryan a letter. Let me go ahead and play this real quick, and then we'll get into it. Go ahead.
And we do not own rights to this
Yeah.
video for
We've already.
educational purposes.
I don't think I have to. I don't think I'll keep saying it, but I pretty much we have the disclaimer in the beginning of the show and at the end of the show, and we just had cheating do a nice little thing there, but we're gonna put this right here. Here we go. Where is it? Right here. All right. So if you are familiar with the Sean Ryan Show, this is the Sean Ryan Show on YouTube. Please watch the full video to hear my defense response. So we're talking about Camp Canucks attorneys demand letter requesting the removal of parts of his interview with Ro Khanna. If you would like to read both letters yourself, you can do so here.
I need to talk to you about something serious. Last week, I received a demand letter from lawyers representing Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian summer camp in Missouri. They're threatening to sue me for defamation because of something I said on my podcast with Congressman Ro Khanna. Here's what I said. I brought Elizabeth Phillips on my show, and she talked about how Kanakuk employees have been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDAs after settlements so they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse and trauma. Kanakuk's lawyers are demanding I take down that portion of the interview, issue a public apology, and stop talking about this. They gave me 10 days. That deadline has passed. Here's my response. No, I don't negotiate with pedophiles or the people who defend them. I'm not taking anything down. I'm not apologizing, and I'm damn sure not going to stop talking about child sexual abuse at a Christian camp that continues to operate on the same grounds where horrific abuse took place. Let me be crystal clear about the facts. Facts that Kanakuk's own lawyers admitted in their letter. 1. Pete Newman, a senior Kanakuk employee and camp director, sexually abused children at Kanakuk for multiple years in the early 2000s. He's now serving life sentences. 2. Between 20 and 30 civil lawsuits were filed against Kanakuk. 3. Multiple confidential settlement agreements were executed with victims, NDAs that prevented these kids from speaking publicly about what happened to them. Kanakuk can't prove the number is less than thousands, and given their own admission of a cover-up, the true number is unknowable. But here's what really pisses me the fuck off. Kanakuk is still operating a camp at the very location where countless children suffered horrific abuse. They're still running programs. They're still bringing kids to the exact same place. And now they want to silence me for talking about it. This isn't about protecting their reputation. This is about protecting children, and I will not be silenced. My attorney has sent Kanakuk's lawyers a response. We've made it clear. If they want to sue me, bring it on. We welcome discovery. We welcome depositions of Kanakuk leadership about what they knew, when they knew it, and what they did or didn't do to protect children. We welcome full disclosure of every abuse allegation, every settlement, every internal investigation, and every financial record showing whether Kanakuk actually suffered any harm from my statement or whether this is just an attempt to intimidate people into silence. Under Tennessee law, Kanakuk will have to prove I'm lying. They'll have to prove actual malice, that I knew my statements were false, or that I had serious doubts about its truth. They can't do that because I relied on Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother was a victim. I relied on public court records, relied on widespread media coverage of Pete Newman's prosecution, and most importantly, they admit the core of what I said is true. Kanakuk employees sexually abused children. Victims were silenced by confidentiality agreements. That's not defamation. That's the truth. I want to say something directly to survivors. I see you. I believe you, and I will not stop fighting for you. Sexual abuse at youth camps, especially Christian camps that are supposed to be safe places, is a matter of urgent public concern. Parents have a right to know. Kids have a right to be protected, and survivors have a right to speak. Kanakuk's attempt to use legal threats to silence reporting on child sexual abuse in itself is newsworthy, and I'm going to keep reporting on it. To Kanakuk, you want to talk about callous and malicious disregard for the truth? Let's talk about operating a camp where a predator had access to thousands of children for years. Let's talk about confidentiality agreements that silenced traumatized kids. Let's talk about continuing to operate on a crime scene. You're not the victim here. The children you failed to protect are the victims. I stand by every word I said. I will not retract. I will not apologize. And if you want to sue me, my lawyers are ready. To everyone watching, this is why I do this show. This is why we tell real stories about real people, because the truth matters, because kids matter, and because some things are more important than money or reputation. If you want to support survivors of institutional child sexual abuse, check out No More Victims, the organization Elizabeth Phillips founded. They're passing laws to protect kids and hold institutions like Kanakuk accountable. And if you're a survivor, please know it's not your fault. You deserve justice, and there are people fighting for you. I'll keep you updated as this develops, but I'm not going to be backing down.
Hey, Jeremy, what's the name of that law firm?
Hush Blackwell.
Hush Blackwell. I wonder how many pedophiles they've defended. That'd be an interesting piece. I wonder how many pedophiles they've defended.
Hey, are you talking?
There we go. No, I wasn't talking about a button was stuck. Wink, wink. We want to thank Sean Ryan for bringing this clip here and taking the stance that he's taken, and maybe we possibly can get some discovery so that we can shut these operations down. But we went a step further. Ms. Sheepdog is going to talk about the foundation, as well as you can see, if you want to do further research, you can look up the little. And we're also going to bring more clips right after she gets done reading this about this foundation, because we went and pulled up all the news articles and clips from this camp.
Hey, Jeremy, what's the name of that law firm?
Hush Blackwell.
Hush Blackwell. I wonder how many pedophiles they've defended. That'd be an interesting.
Think about that. They have to, that's why it's called Hush Blackwell, right? Hush, huh? So
Well,
they seem to specify in defending pedophilia.
They're high profile customers they represented, and it's spelled HUSCH Blackwell. They represented Microsoft Corporation, Emerson Process Management, Cox Health, Congra Brands, CSC Sugars LLC, Attribution and Global Disputes. There's a bunch of pharmaceuticals and biotechnology.
Let's go.
That's it.
So here is a clip here. Abused at a Christian summer camp. Survivors say they've been silenced. 17-minute clip here. We're going to play periodically. We're going to pause, comment, and continue from there. If you have any mental health issues or maybe trauma that you haven't dealt with, this is probably not the show. Right? Just a little disclaimer, because I know how this can kindle anything. But if you are a victim of said situations, we just want to know that we're here. We're here for you, and we're going to speak out for you and do the best that we can to put an end to all this shit and quit silencing these children.
And also, if you have a story and you would like to share it on our show, please reach out to us so we can do a platform and a voice.
There you go.
I was gonna say, I saw the boat and I was gonna key up and say, oh, that looks like fun. And then you said about the summer camp. I'm like, oh, no, not fun.
I'll wait till you find out what they do on them boats and them four-wheelers and stuff
No.
with kids, right? And hot tubs and little private time with some of the counselors, right? That's how I'm going to play this clip here. I'm not going to get ahead of the victims. I'm going to let them tell their story. But when Sean Ryan said this was already out there and they're bringing lawsuits, this is mainstream. This isn't a secret.
Kid, I could hear it
And this camp has been here for almost 100 years.
every summer, and I always wanted to go. I always thought, oh man, it'd be so fun.
If you got to go to Kanakuk, it said something about your family. It said something about your finances. It said something about your kids.
So right off the bat, the kids that go here have money. Their parents have money.
Yes.
Okay. We're not talking about
Kind of reminds me of that one
So-
Camp Mystic kind of.
Camp Mystic, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, did you see that too? The Bronson, there was a 666 in that. I don't know if that was the zip code or what, but it was a Bronson 666.
Wow.
I grew up across the lake from Kanakuk, so as a kid, I could hear it.
Let's see. Yep. 651 and 666 right here in the middle. Branson 65616. But
And also the Kanakuk, the KKK.
they're all sixes actually. You take the 5 and a 1 and it makes another 6.
The camps spelled with a K, that's German.
Yep.
Every summer, and I always wanted to go. I always thought, oh man, it'd be so fun.
If you got to go to Kanakuk, it said something about your family. It said something about your finances. It said something about your kids. It was a privilege.
Kanakuk is a Christian camp. It's thought of overall as being very wholesome. When we sent our daughter there, she said something that was really haunting. She said, look, Mom, these people aren't who you think they are.
She said, Mom, these people aren't who you think they are. That's what she told her mom, right? Because if the parents are blinded, if you go and look up this, they have a YouTube channel. If you go and look up their advertisements for the camp, it's packaged as a very Christian, like the propaganda is so thick. It's not even funny. So these parents see these videos, they paint this picture of what this camp's going to be like. But when the kids go there, they see something much different. And you're going to see that throughout the rest of this presentation.
It's all a big lie.
Amanda Tackett's daughter was 10 years old when she came home from her Christian summer camp and said she'd seen a staffer sexually abusing a young boy in the woods.
I called the camp. You know, they told me, oh, thank you so much for telling us, and we're going to fully investigate this, and we'll get back to you. And they called me the next morning. They said that they had completed their investigation, and they said that they were very concerned about our family, and they were very concerned about my daughter's spiritual walk.
You hear that?
Spiritual walk.
Now they're concerned about the daughter's spiritual walk, that she may be in some demonic dibble-dabble in demonic realms that may have her thinking these things took place, and we really need to take a look at her mental health. You see the mind games, right? Think about that.
Concerned about our family, and they were very concerned about my daughter's spiritual walk with God, and I was just furious.
Not worried about the victim and investigating that. They know that's been taking place. We just want to know why you're coming forth, and we're going to intimidate you and flip this on you, because that's what we do.
Yes, that's not an investigation.
The camp employee was Director Pete Newman, who continued to work at Kanakuk camps in Branson, Missouri, coaching and ministering to kids each summer. Until in 2009, he admitted he'd sexually abused young boys. He was then fired, arrested, and charged with multiple counts of child sexual abuse. Newman pleaded guilty and has been serving back-to-back life sentences since 2010. A judge later found that parents had tried to warn the camp about Newman for years and that he abused nearly 60 children, including Brandy and Joe Alarcon's son.
One of the biggest questions I get all the time is, but what's happening today? What's happening at the camp right now that makes it unsafe for my child to be there. The leadership that allowed Pete Newman to be there and sexually molest, sodomize, and abuse children, that same leadership is still functioning and at large there at camp today. So why would you want your child to be there?
Who's responsible for what happened?
The entire leadership, Joe White, the board, Kanakuk. From what we have learned, they all played a part in that decision.
And who's been held accountable?
Nobody.
For evangelical families like the Alarcons,
Evangelical families, right, children are being hunted, and they don't even realize it. So nobody's been held accountable, right? Are we seeing a trend here? But you have evidence of this. This isn't the Epstein shit. This is backyard. This is in your front yard, backyard. This is at home base. This is something that you and I can bring attention to so that we can stop the abuse, get accountability, and save these children and future children moving forward.
Yeah, somebody asked a question in the chat. How could they get children to sign an NDA, right? Well, they were already legally questionable, right? It says NDAs used to silence child abuse victims were often considered against policy. So there was no laws put in place, though. So there's new laws being worked on right now in Texas and Missouri explicitly saying children cannot sign NDAs, and that they'll free these ones that did sign one to be able to speak freely now. So yeah, even though it wasn't legally binding, I guess the law wasn't clear, so therefore they could do it. Crazy.
So there's other church. If you look at go look at Branson, Missouri, and on itself, and all the churches that are there, right? And you're gonna see some shit that a lot of people have overlooked or not seeing it or haven't seen it, but there's history of this taking place, even at those churches and at these camps. I've seen some evangelical lady from back in the 80s. Remember the girl with what's her name? That lady right there is scary. She was the first female evangelical pastor ever. She had a TV show, right? Ministry on TV. I don't know if anybody wouldn't. I'll post it. But it was
even hissed like a snake.
She even hisses like a snake.
It was creepy.
It's creepy. But these are
showed it once on
and then she looks like Kenneth Copeland is like, it's almost like she was Kenneth Copeland's grandmother.
Yeah.
You know how creepy Kenneth Copeland looks, like with those eyes, and how
her eyes
she was like, just going back and looking at that whole area, there was some crazy shit going on there for decades. This camp is just nothing. This is just like a little, just tip of the iceberg. This isn't an isolated event. And lawyers, they spent billions of dollars to silence the families of children for decades in these churches, or so-called churches. They're not churches of Christ. They're something else. If you're abusing children, you're not a church of Christ. I don't care how many times you cry on TV in front of your congregation. They may stay, but you know what's going to happen whenever you get to where you got to go, right? God's judgment.
The board, Kanakuk, from what we have learned, they all played a part in that decision.
And who's been held accountable?
Nobody.
For evangelical families like the Alarcons, the camp has been a nearly 100-year-old tradition. Almost 500,000 campers have passed through its gates since it opened in 1926. And every year, over 20,000 kids travel to its sprawling campus. Parents pay thousands of dollars for their kids to get the Kanakuk experience, led by Joe White, a high-profile evangelical speaker.
On your behalf, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
The Alarcons started sending their son Ashton to camp when he was 10. where he began spending time with Pete Newman.
All right, right here. Here's Pete. Peter, right? Pedo Peter. Is this the same Pete that was at what was that other, remember Pete that slept the church that I can't think of the name of it in Florida here recently, a couple years ago? The lady was the pastor, the owner or whatever, and there was some abuse. The son and the mother were having issues in the church.
Oh yeah, that's something Lamb. Is her last name?
Yeah.
The
Well, they said his name was Pete that messed with the little girl in the house.
yeah.
And they
that
said, well,
was,
who the hell is Pete?
forget,
Is that like a code?
something Lamb, and I forget the name of the church.
Right.
But yeah.
So here it is, right? Getting real close to somebody's kid that ain't even, it's not his son. You would think it was, right? That was his father.
I am a little slower than everybody, a little shorter, maybe a little weaker. We're the ones that get targeted.
You feel like you were picked off?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I was. And so Pete had asked my parents if it was okay if I spend 2 days or so with him. And so Joe White, the owner, vouched for Pete and said, yeah, like that's fine. Like tons of kids do it all the time. Of course, I was super excited at the time. And then that's when like any parent's worst nightmare, any kid's worst nightmare came into reality. When we got in the hot tub, that's when he started asking me to do like explicit things. And he was like running around nude. And then he would like go inside and ask you to play like sexual games with him. When you're in that situation, you're so young, never actually thinking that would happen. I mean, 12 years old, what was I gonna do?
When they learned their son was a victim, the Alarcones reached out to the camp, which they say offered free vacations, free weeks at camp, and sent them gifts like an iPad and fruit baskets. Camp leadership addressed the allegations against Newman with a statement that they were, quote, deeply saddened and shocked. The Alarcones say initially they believed that, but things quickly changed.
We learned that Pete Newman had written a list of the boys that he could remember having been inappropriate with and having sexual relations with and molesting. And Joe White contacted us and said, I'm happy to report that your son's name is on that list, but Pete divided it into 2 columns. One of boys that he had close interactions with, but did not molest or sodomize in any way. And then another list of those that he did. And I'm happy to report that Ashton's in the list that was not touched physically. And so we're like, we want to see this list for ourselves. We had an appointment with Jeff Merrill, the district attorney, and they provided us the copy. And there was no separation. There was no column.
At that point in time, it was confirmed that we knew that Joe White was lying to us.
The only way we were going to know the truth was to hire an attorney.
The Alarcones first made the allegations they shared with Vice News in a civil suit filed in 2011, in which they claimed Newman had sexually abused Ashton and the camp was liable. The suit alleged that White and Kanakuk put Newman in a, quote, position of trust with children, even though they'd been made aware of several incidents going back to 1999 in which Newman had engaged in
All right, so ignorance of it has passed after the first child was abused. So ignorance of it there should not have been 60, 70 other attempts. It should have been stopped on the first one. And I don't understand what the issue is with these people or why this is taking place or allowed to take place, because that's what this is.
Appropriate activities with underage campers, including streaking, riding four-wheelers naked, and holding hot tub Bible studies with young boys.
There we go.
Ugh.
Now hold on. Now, if Camp Kunuk was honest and they did honest depictions of what's really going on there, then their YouTube channel should reflect a bunch of nude guys running around with boys. They should also show you in those advertisements to come hang out there, hot tub for Bible studies, nude riding, streaking through the camp. So they're using, y'all see what they're doing? This is the devil masking himself as a point of light. in the flesh, like hijacking your religion and your gullibility and your trusting and your goodness and your wholesomeness and your not thinking at that level against you, and are preying on kids. And it's been going on for decades upon decades upon decades. And I want to say that not everyone that goes to these camps are bad people. But why are the bad apples allowed to continue is my issue. So now I'm thinking this is a lot. This is crazy, right?
When confronted with parent complaints about Newman's behavior, the lawsuit alleges that Kanakuk did not fire or officially report him. Instead, exhibits in the Alarcones and other civil lawsuits filed against Newman and the camp suggest Kanakuk made note of Newman's behavior in incident reports.
This is still criminal investigation stuff, so there's warrants and investigative documents from every.
This is why Sean Rain's saying we want to bring discovery.
Yes.
They have it all, right? This hasn't been allowed.
Single charge that happened in Taney County, and this just goes on for pages and pages and pages.
Tackett used to work as a freelance journalist and followed these cases closely. She's been talking with Kanakuk victims and their families for the past decade, collecting information and documents about what the camp knew and when they knew it.
This is a human resources document that was used to correct Pete's behavior.
They made him a worksheet.
Yes, this is Pete's handwriting here. These are his answers. List 3 reasons why camp counselors sometimes get accused of inappropriate contact with campers. List 3 good ways to avoid accusations of improper sexual contact towards a camper. List 3 things that former President Clinton did wrong regarding his encounter with Monica Lewinsky.
So this was their attempt to try to deal with the situation. Rules: never be naked with a child, never touch a child in an aggressive way or a sexual way. This has a summertime boundaries section. No further visits from out-of-state kids. No.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Who said that?
Renee said Whitey is the owner of Kids Across America.
Right, they're global.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would
Sleepovers.
they even have that in there, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
That's like,
other churches would send their church kids to that camp too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
oh no, this is crazy that that's even in the contract. But I'm not saying this to be funny too. But when I saw the 1999, I was thinking Prince. You know, party like it's 1999. I guess they were having their little 1999 party.
Right.
Well, this goes back. Can you imagine how? Because Mr. White, that's in charge of it now, inherited it from his father and them that started it back in the 1926.
Like Camp Mystic.
Like
too.
Camp Mystic.
That was in the 20s also. So what are like YMCA too?
YMCA.
Yeah.
You know what's fun is they have all the boys.
To spend the night alone with one or more kids. A noticeable change in the way Pete budgets his time, i.e. regular time with peers as opposed to a lopsided, inordinate amount of time spent with kids.
But those are weird questions. What did Bill Clinton do wrong with Monica Lewinsky? Name 3 things.
Those are very strange questions.
Like it's almost like.
And how to avoid not being accused of something. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got to tell your camp counselors at a Christian camp not to be like diddling the kids in your like paperwork, something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Christian parents too trust these camps because they're like, I'm going to a Christian summer camp. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the kids that do go home and speak out, they get silenced and ostracized, NDA'd, and the family attacked.
Yeah, well, remember that show,
Right, Jenny.
that movie you played? They were showing you what was going on at camps. That old movie in the 80s.
Yeah, the Camp Mystic one.
Go ahead, cheating.
What was you saying, cheating?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was having a little dinner. No, I was just thinking like I talk to a lot of Christians and they just defend everybody. They're like, "Oh no, Mike Pence didn't do that. He's a Christian," you know. In and Out wouldn't do that.
That's what they hide behind.
Yeah, In and Out wouldn't In and Out. You can donate the rest of your money, like the change over to trafficking, and it's like they're probably in on it. And then just like Chick-fil-A, no, they're a Christian company. Well, really, you know?
Exactly.
Can I
Yeah,
say, yeah. Can I say something? The closer you get to God on that level, and you take that, the more attacks are going to come your way. And if you got a man like these people that are going up there and standing in front of the pulpit and they're weak as shit whenever they're challenged themselves, that's the hardest part. But
just
I
just
think,
like throw in the Christian word, all of a sudden it's justifiable, and it's not.
That as a shield, the name, right?
right.
They call you on good
Look at Mother
people.
Teresa.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I mean, come on, dude.
Father
done that.
Teresa.
Sorry.
They've been doing that for a very long time. So.
And
Look at Mother Teresa.
the villains of this world, they're not like all, breathing fire and yelling at people. They're the ones that they're smoothest. I used to have a boss that I would be like, I'm gonna kill him today. Today's the day he dies. Like I would be saying that on the way to go see him. And then 2 to 5 minutes in the office with him, and I love the guy again. It's like they're so control they just have a way about them. And you kind of end up thinking you're the one that did wrong at the end. It's like it's weird how these people can really finagle you.
Um, when you go, once you recognize it, you go back and look at all of these old footage, these videos of these people that surrounded themselves with these little kids in the 80s, and they did little talent shows with them, and little girls dressing up, and they were like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," little, blah blah blah. And then the woman, what's even sicker is the woman they're with promotes it. They do it, participate in it with the man, right?
So they're documenting in 2003 that he's already doing something inappropriate.
Prosecutors investigating Newman obtained what looks like an action plan the camp had him sign in 2003, years before Ashton Alarcon arrived, when Newman's boss was Chris Cooper.
Did you recommend that Pete Newman be fired because of the events that have occurred with the nude four-wheeling, the sleeping one-on-one with children, and now the naked basketball playing with children?
Did I recommend he be fired? No, ma'am.
Why not?
Did he smile, kind of? So you didn't recommend to be fired?
No.
What, was he going to be
When they were
reprimanded?
playing naked basketball, you didn't see something wrong with that?
So there's something wrong with
Uh,
this whole thing is rotten.
yeah.
Because we believed that it was immature decision making, and we believed that we needed to help him understand how to make better decisions.
Cooper gave that testimony.
Oh. Help him better understand how to make better decisions through the kids he's...
To help him understand.
We need to help him understand
That it was immature decision making.
it was immature decision making on his part to have those urges to diddle kids, right? Young adults, 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds, whatever the hell the age. Believe that it was immature decision making. That's it.
And we believed that we needed to help him understand how to make better decisions.
Just help him make better decisions moving forward. You're not fired, sir. You fit right in.
Cooper gave that testimony in a deposition obtained by Vice News. In another, Kanakuk CEO Joe White
Now I want y'all to look at this dude's eyes. I mean, he's like kind of. Just look at his eyes. I'm not gonna comment. Just dark eyes.
Alien eyes.
Why are all their names starting with the K? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Kaniki's and Chris with the K. It's like, I don't know,
Well,
when you
because
do
they're,
K
you know why?
Maybe Masons.
I know why.
Don't do that.
Because they're in Kansas City, Missouri. KC. They spelled his name with a K because his first name with a K instead of a C, Chris, because his last name is Cooper, KC, Kansas City, K. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They seem to be like even like Peter and all these.
Masonic.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you picked up on it. Cheating, good eye. But
Yeah, but and there's something else too, and this is a little off. Sometimes I do things, in my own way, but when you get K's an 11 in gematria, so you get their name is K, and then it's that camp. I can't remember the name of the camp, and then they spell the camp with a K, so that's 3 Ks. So you get 3. I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy how they do stuff.
it's
But yeah,
33.
mm-hmm.
KC, because K is 11, C is 3. 11 times 3 is 33.
Bingo.
Camp Kunakuk.
Camp Kunakuk.
Kunakuk. Yeah, there's 3 Ks in it.
But I want people to just pay attention to these. Look in their eyes.
In another, Kanakuk CEO Joe White defended the decision to keep Newman on staff.
This inappropriate behavior, which was definitely inappropriate, and it was immature. It was poor judgment. But in the context.
So messing with kids is, he's saying it out of his mouth.
Judgment.
Pure judgment. It was just an immature. He just needs more Jesus. Maybe riding around naked with kids more, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
So this is how they handle it?
Poor judgment. But in the context, as I said earlier, it was like 2 drops of water in a cascade of appreciation and outstanding character, outstanding example, outstanding role model. It was just drowned out by that.
White and camp leadership maintained they never knew Newman.
What?
So his outstanding role model, his outstanding character overshadowed that, I guess.
He was such a great man that, okay, he diddled a kid, but he's such a great man. His character, I mean, look at him and in all his glory. Guys, don't worry. Look, that was just a weak moment, all right?
Wow.
Just one. No, wait, was it 60?
That should have been the last one.
Or was it 70, 80,000? How many kids didn't speak out?
They're coming out now. Those that other thing saying there's over thousands. This is just at one camp, okay?
This is one
if
camp.
There's thousands
and
of
worldwide
from
this thing.
one camp. Can you imagine other camps that people haven't talked about yet or hasn't come forward yet in the public?
Well, think about this. There's another thing to think about. Remember we talked about it earlier. Think about all these LGBTQ kids, right, who was raised in Christian families and maybe had been abused throughout their young adult lives and made them turn away from the God that that these people say they worship.
Those documentaries on them, they sometimes turn out that way because of abuse at an early age.
Abuse, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it does something to their mind, their children.
Yeah, they see the abuse in the church and they're like, "Wow, was this this is it?"
Right.
Right. So these aren't real representatives of Christ at all. Right. This is something else.
They turn a blind eye.
They just use the name. These are what is that? The synagogue of Satan, right? Those that say they are Christians, but they are not.
Was sexually abusing children, and that he was, quote, swiftly terminated and reported to the authorities by Kanakuk when they became aware. In a statement posted to its website, the camp says, quote, investigations following the events of 2009 have determined that no one at Kanakuk knew that any criminal activity was being committed, and no charges for failure to report were ever filed against any Kanakuk staff. Today, the camp touts new protocols put in place after Newman, called Kanakuk's Child Protection Plan. The Alarcon civil lawsuit was settled with Kanakuk, with no admission of liability or wrongdoing. Several others were settled as well. In 2014, one judge ruled that Kanakuk couldn't be liable for Newman's misconduct, since the abuse wasn't furthering the camp's business interests. The total number...
Right, so what they've been doing is settling all these things out of court. That's why you see all these Epstein. You see with the Maxwell case, how she settled. They all made a secret settlement. 29 of her friends.
A lot of these cases get settled out of court, or they get threatened.
Katie Johnson settled out of court. So on and so on. A lot of things. I mean, it's...
of settlements paid out by the camp remains unknown. Many of these agreements included confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses.
Because they don't want discovery, and I believe Sean Ryan's going to bring discovery.
So Katie Johnson backed out because of threats.
Right.
The Joan Doe settled out.
Okay, Joan Doe.
Which victims say have kept them from speaking out. One victim, who says he was abused by Newman in the mid-2000s, spoke to Vice News, but asked to remain anonymous because of the language in his settlement agreement.
In my settlement with camp, they made sure that I signed an NDA, and that NDA says that I can't disparage Kanakuk. And by talking to you, I'm at risk for disparaging Kanakuk, which could face legal repercussions.
Are you concerned that they would come after you?
Yeah, absolutely. And if they did, who knows how much money Kanakuk has? They're a very wealthy organization. I'm just one person. What am I going to do if they come after me with their lawyers?
Victims feel they have reason to be nervous. The Alarcons are the only known plaintiffs who refused to sign a non-disparagement and confidentiality provision in their settlement agreement, and Kanakuk pursued them, arguing they were violating the terms of their agreement by rejecting that provision.
Here are multiple letters from attorneys, both sides right here. Here are filings to the courts, to a federal judge, asking the federal judge to sanction me personally because we are not abiding by a NDA that does not exist. They're asking the courts to also force us to sign the NDAs or to sign this mediation. And it just goes on and on.
Do you feel like these were efforts to silence you guys?
Silence, bully us. That was definitely a bullying tactic.
How much did this cost you?
It cost us over $40,000 for us to defend ourselves on this stuff that should have gone to Ashton's Healing, and instead it went to attorney's fees.
Is that why you think people are afraid to speak out?
This is proof. They do go after people. If they did this to us, who knows what they did to other families?
Victims and their families have up to this point not spoken out against Kanakuk with their names or their faces. Why are you speaking out not anonymously?
I couldn't allow these young men, knowing what they went through, to be slapped in the face again. And their response was a slap in their face.
It's real that we were lied to by the camp. It's real that they're covering things up still to this day. And I really want the camp leadership to step down and let there be.
Yeah, so we hear that from the parents.
Yeah, let me break something down for you too. Because when I hear stuff, like the name Newman, you know what I mean? So new man, but then the surname Newman is primarily of English origin, meaning new man or stranger, quote unquote, but also a common surname in other countries, often as Americanized form of German. There we got the German with the KKK and the 666, and they got the German Newman, or variations from Jewish Ashkenazic. So I just brought up that name real quick. So stuff just ties together,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Camp Kanakuk is $40 million in assets. They make 30 to 70 million in annual revenue per year. It's a lot.
How much?
For a nonprofit? See that name is so deceiving. Nonprofit, but you're making that much money.
How you non-profiting millions of dollars?
30 to 70
The spells they put on us is crazy.
30 to 70 million per year estimate. Yeah, they're labeled as a nonprofit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the Sherry with the kids in schools next. I'm leading into that, so thank you for bringing it up.
Hey, when you said nonprofit, I'm always raising a red flag when there's kids involved at nonprofit. Every single time.
Yes. They're a nonprofit with church status. Probably no taxes either.
School district teacher charged with sexual assault with a minor.
Right, so we're gonna get into all that tonight. Let's go back to the clip where we were playing. We only got a couple more minutes on this, and then we'll get into the schools and how y'all remember in the last 20 years or 15 years, you've seen a lot of like on the news, you'll see a lot of like blonde-headed, attractive teachers sleeping with their students over the years, and nobody said anything. They were like, and the men were like, "Oh man, I wish my teacher would have did that to me." He. Right? That was the mentality, but not realizing that when that's flipped and that's your daughter being abused by a male teacher, then all of a sudden you want justice, right? That's sick.
Yeah, they're doing that right now on Coronation Street, which is a British soap opera. It's from 1960s. It's been that long. It's been on. And the teacher is 30 or 32. The student just turned 16 and she's pregnant. So they're doing that on a soap opera right now in Britain in England.
Yeah, they're conditioning the people to accept the
Yeah.
school kid 14 as well, that's
Yeah, and that's not the first person that this is the second kid that that I've noticed with this storyline, because even though it's a storyline, it still came out of somewhere, you know.
right. Well, here, check out this clip, Nadine. Tell me what you think about. So we're talking about where are these people getting this from? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to go over that Hush law firm. The high profile cases they represented on sexual abuse related matters was LSU sexual assault, and conducted a 150-page independent investigation into how Louisiana State University mishandled sexual assaults and domestic violence allegations involving athletes. So they represented LSU's, also a federal lawsuit by 10 women against LSU, right? Let's see. There's a bunch of sexual assaults. Yeah, they represented the victims, sir.
She's talking about the law firm that is coming after Sean Ryan for bringing having this interview right here. Let me pull it up. If you look right here to the right, Elizabeth Phillips, Camp Canuck. You can go to the Sean Ryan show and pull it up. It's a 4-hour interview, and that's what started all this. This was 2 weeks ago.
They also represented Baylor University, right? And multiple K through 12 districts of misconduct in investigations with teachers and students.
There you go. I'll put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat for this episode as well, real quick, from Vice. Here we go.
So that they represent regularly represent conducts internal investigations for companies where employees report sexual assault, sexual harassment, or supervised misconduct.
If you can look on my screen right there to the left, I can scroll down for hours. See all the teachers?
Okay, it says also Hush Blackwell's sexual abuse related work centers on institutional investigations, titles, audits, and defending. They defend universities rather than representing individual accused of assault. Their most high-profile involvement is the LSU sexual assault investigation, which exposed systematic failures and became the basis for multiple lawsuits and settlements. So they defend the universities. So just
All right.
pointing out.
It's not guilty. What do you think?
Well,
What was that?
I think it was a very tough case.
Let me pull this
Now,
up.
speaking of beauty contests, you want to have fun with me first?
What is
I said
that?
you know.
Does anybody know what that is?
It's on there.
Second?
Yeah.
Is that on your end?
No, it's when you push play.
Nadine, do y'all cheating?
What?
What is that?
What happened? What I do now?
Better hair. You or Mitt?
That?
Can y'all
Y'all
hear
hear
that?
that? Does it sound like static?
No, it just stopped. Wait a minute. Not
Yeah,
now. I had heard something.
It sounds like pure static to us.
I had to unplug everything. Hold on, let me play this, see if this works. All right, here's a little.
Can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Let me stop sharing here.
Yeah, I hear that. Whatever it is. Yeah, I did hear it.
Here we go. Share screen. All right, I'm gonna fast forward. I'm not. You can go watch the clip. I'll share it in the chat if you want. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the chat. Well, let me get to the facts. He's just gonna talk about Barack Obama's. This is from a Trump interview. What's called from Extra Trump on his political future, Obama's birth certificate, and a new feud. This was 13 years ago. So we were talking about the abuse of children in schools and stuff like that, right? I want you to hear what hit from his own mouth, what he thinks or how he feels about it.
Government to bring, and I am not a fan of his at all, not even a little bit, but I think it was a very, very tough case for them to bring. It was really a case that probably should not have been brought.
Have you heard about all these teachers having sex with their students? Is this not crazy? What is going on?
Well, I don't think the male students have been hurt by it. In fact, they're going around bragging about it, as I understand it. So, it's I don't see a lot of damage done.
Fair enough.
But it's a very unusual situation. I would say her husband cannot be happy.
Oh, you are bad. If she still has a husband. Bloomberg, the 16-ounce limit. What the heck's going on? I need my latte.
Well, I don't.
All right, so did y'all hear that?
Yeah, that's not good. You don't.
What's going on?
And was he president then?
No, it was way before, just 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, to say that is not.
Yeah, that's what I'm point. That's what I wanted to point out. The fact that this is the man's mindset. It's just boys having sex with older women in school. Hell, who wouldn't want to do that?
No, it's damaging them. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. It's damaging them. You got to grow up and be a freaking real person, man. Like just grow up and be a real freaking solid person instead of being a scumbag. It's that simple.
But I think it was a very, very tough case for them to bring. It was really a case that probably should not have been brought.
Have you heard about all these teachers having sex with their students? Is this not crazy? What is going on?
Well, I don't think the male students have been hurt by it. In fact, they're going around bragging about it, as I understand it. So, I don't see a lot of damage done.
Fair enough.
But it's a very unusual situation. I would say her husband cannot be happy.
Oh, you are bad.
You see, she's just laughing at it too, and that pisses me off too. Because if you see something, you say something right then and there, and I don't know why people don't get that. Like you're saying it's okay, especially if you're standing there giggling and saying, "Oh, how we're gonna get into it now?" Like it. You either are good or you're bad. It's like no.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So then we go down the line. I can go. There's like never-ending content on teachers, male and female, sleeping with their students. I mean,
Yeah, see that one that I was talking about on Coronation Street? She's his gym teacher, and he's supposed to be great at football, soccer or whatever they do. So yeah, she coaches him like when they're not in school too. So it's yeah, and she's 30 or 32, and he's just turned 16, and she's pregnant. And then and then just before this storyline, there was a guy that's in his late 40s, early 50s, and they were going after this woman that had underage sex with him, but now she's like 70 or something. So they were going after it again. I don't know if well, the wife was going after it. He wasn't. He was like, "Oh, it didn't bother me," and the wife's like, "Yeah, it did. You can't see it." So they are addressing it. I don't know if they're addressing it for good or bad because it depends on your view on this stuff, I guess.
yeah.
Because they could just be making it all freaking normal, and let's tolerate one more thing. Tolerate, until we're exactly where we are today.
That's it.
That's
Good
why
point.
we are where we are. Exactly.
Fix my microphone here. All right, how about that? Is that sound good? Nadine,
What?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be a third party accountability. I want the voices of the victims to come first and foremost.
Is there fear in speaking out?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's why so many families haven't.
What's the fear?
That Kanakuk will come after us a second time and sanction us or sue us again.
Newman's been in prison for more than a decade, and the camp has tried to distance itself from the scandal, advertising that Kanakuk is the safest place to be. But this year, victims and families started speaking out more publicly, talking to the conservative publication The Dispatch, and sharing their experiences on a website, factsaboutkanakuk.com. Run anonymously, the site catalogs abuses perpetrated by individuals associated with Kanakuk, including at least 5 former staff members or volunteers who were later convicted of sex crimes either at Kanakuk or elsewhere. The site demands Kanakuk release victims from any and all confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses. What do you think should happen at this point?
Kanakuk would admit to their faults. They would admit to their negligence. They would say, hey, we knew about these instances and we made a wrong choice. And I think all those people in leadership who were involved, who knew about what Pete had done, I think they all need to voluntarily step down to show that they're serious about protecting kids.
If the camp had taken action back then, what would that have meant for you?
Had they fired him immediately, it sounds like I never would have been a victim. And that's just me. And to think how much of the abuse could have been prevented, how many kids never would have suffered any abuse. Like that changes so much. It changes so many lives. I think my life would be completely different.
When reached for comment, a Kanakuk spokesman told Vice News, "We remain incredibly sorry that this happened to anyone. Despite our efforts, we missed the warning signs." Neither Kanakuk camps nor Joe White responded to a detailed list of allegations presented in this piece, and Kanakuk did not respond to repeated requests for comment from its board. Requests to Chris Cooper and Pete Newman also went unanswered. Kanakuk denies allegations it used NDAs to silence victims, stating on its website, "This is simply not the case. The overwhelming majority of confidentiality agreements were established in cooperation with the victim to protect their privacy."
Kanakuk's response to the NDAs was, oh, the plaintiffs wanted an NDA. That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard, and a terrible response from a camp. Who in the world says, yes, I want to give away my constitutional right to verbalize what happened to me, the sexual abuse, the rape that happened to me at a camp? if the Kanakuk is as holy as they claim to be, they should have no issue releasing people from their NDAs. And if I didn't have that freedom, we may not be having this conversation.
You're one of the only people who can show your face and give your name and speak out about your story.
Exactly. And I'm choosing to do that, like show my face now. Because I've waited so long for this. Sorry, that just like hit me out of nowhere. I don't even know why. Yeah, it sucks being alone.
These kids aren't alone, man. So these kids aren't alone.
No, there's millions of us that know.
They may feel that way, and they may feel that they live in a world where sins like this are silenced by people that call themselves. But moving forward, it's not going to continue, right? So it's just get hot and heavy.
Just imagine like being in so much pain, but if I were to tell you about it and Kanakuk finds out, I'm gonna get sued for what I'm hurting about, and I'm just asking for help. That's not living. That's imprisonment.
K1, there you go. I shared the link out for this in the chat.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. I feel bad for that guy. That sucks because the way you heal is to express and get everything off your chest, and you feel like you're trapped.
And that's what the Sean. If you go back to Sean Ryan, she does the video he does with the girl that he was talking about. Her brother that committed suicide because of that NDA. Couldn't talk about it to nobody. And that's what happens, this is, and they suffer this whole time because they can't tell anybody.
Yeah, I want to see the propaganda for the camp.
I think college students should take the time and invest their summer here, whatever that looks like, for however long that may be. Just because, one, it's fun. Who doesn't love fun? And I think camp has showed me, like, I want to remain as childlike as possible for as long as I can and just have fun. But also above that, and more importantly than that, like, it is an investment into your faith, of like your walk with Christ. Each summer I've walked out of camp looking different than I did walking into it, of just you are around godly people that want to push you. And then serving is just, it's hard, but you learn so much from it, of how do I love like Christ? How do I serve like him? And so you get both the fun aspect of like, this is just a blast. Like, it's easy to do camp, but also you get to learn so many important, crucial skills that you can take into any workforce after your time in college. And I've done internships here. A lot of people have, and you can just combine it and make it work. Camp is so flexible and loves to do that. And so I see no reason why you shouldn't, because it's a blast.
Well, it looks like they used the kids to do the upkeep around there. It looks like they were painting some stuff around the properties and stuff like that.
Just take your kids camping.
Just take them camping on your own. With strangers. Stranger danger.
Expect to trust that.
Yeah, camps for a lot of money. Imagine saving all that money and paying to go have your kid molested. I'd be furious.
Man, you ain't lying. I don't see how those parents can. Man, I don't know. I know a few people that know a few people. I don't see how those parents can accept that and move on. Like that's it. Like they don't know anybody.
I don't know either.
There's no real men or men out.
No.
Where's everybody at?
Man, I would be in jail. I'm telling you. That's why I did not have kids, because I knew I would end up in jail because of what would happen. I just knew. I'm like, no, it's not going to be smart for you.
So I want to go that. Make sure I got all these. Go up here. Here's the news article.
Fun and family. That's what one camp program is hoping to give children this summer. Kanakuk Christian Summer Camp is already in full swing, with kids learning the fundamentals of faith and friendship. Star Peterson, the site director for the camp, says that she has been coming to the camp for the past 9 years and considers summer camps not only essential for kids, but a family tradition.
And my parents actually met at camp. My brother, sister, and I all grew up coming to Kanakuk camps. And once I was in college, I truly wanted to work at camp.
The camp runs for 1 week, with the camp first stopping in Conway and then coming to Little Rock. The camp features rock wall climbing and water slides and a digital.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay, so with the child stuff, man, it really rubs me the wrong way. I tend to get a little quiet and steer away from it, but I'm on the show and I try not to joke around with stuff like this, but I was just feeling in some airtime. I was gonna do something, but go ahead.
All right, sorry about that. I think I clicked the wrong button to go. Just hold that thought, Chidi, and then we'll get.
Yep.
Recently.
So here's another investigation. I-team investigation. Church cancels Christian day camp as old allegations keep resurfacing.
Yes.
This was from 3 years ago.
CBS
Pastor
Texas.
Doug Page made a right decision. The First Baptist Grapevine canceled the camp about 1 week before it was set to begin for about 200 children at his congregation in the neighborhood. So here we go. This was just not long ago.
Summer camp is canceled for some students in North Texas. A Grapevine pastor just called off the planned camp at his church. And 1 year ago, our I-team dug into the history of the faith-based ministry that was organizing the camp. Now, Ginger Allen is explaining why that history is affecting churches this summer.
The timing was just terrible.
Pastor Doug Page says the First Baptist Church of Grapevine has hosted a Kanakuk Christian day camp for the last couple of years. No problems at all. But this year, they called Kanakuk and said, don't come.
Part of my job, it's not just to feed, to teach, but it's also to shepherd. I kind of had one of those parenting moments.
Pastor Doug says it was simply bad timing. His decision to suddenly cancel followed the Southern Baptist Convention's bombshell report, this recent national article about Kanakuk's past, and this warning from the National Center on Sexual Exploitation about Kanakuk camps. In Missouri, at West Plains Baptist Church, Pastor John King is taking a firmer stance. He sent me this public letter he recently wrote stating, depositions show there were felonies against children committed in 1999 and in 2003. And years later, Kanakuk's leadership continues to lack transparency. He goes on to ask other churches to also end their partnerships until the truth about what happened with Pete Newman is openly confessed. Pete Newman is a former Kanakuk counselor, now serving 2 life sentences for sexually abusing boys many years ago at the very popular Christian camp. Pastor King, and for years others, have said the camp did not react quickly enough and or covered up the claims. Kanakuk is a nationally known overnight summer camp in Missouri. Since 1926, its website states it's attracted 450,000 campers from all over the world, particularly Texas. It also sponsors day camps at local churches nationwide. That's what Pastor Doug just canceled at his church in Grapevine. 200 kids were signed up.
Next week is when they would have been here. I've got a story.
The I-team began following the accusations against Kanakuk 1 year ago when we brought alleged victims and their loved ones together for the first time ever. They were on a mission.
For awareness, accountability, justice.
And perhaps the greatest reason.
For the individuals at home that haven't came out yet.
Some had filed lawsuits, and more frustrating, some had settled, saying they were silenced to never tell their stories.
Did the camp ask you to sign a non-disclosure?
Yeah.
Today, they are all still part of this ongoing online campaign where more than 26,000 people have now signed a petition to release the victims from their non-disclosure agreements. Every summer, they also campaign churches to cancel the camps, exactly what Pastor John and Pastor Doug just did. Again, Pastor Doug is not accusing Kanakuk of any wrongdoing. He says canceling was simply a timely move that sends a message to pastors.
Don't take for granted that everyone that comes into your congregation is safe. Do your homework.
And to parents.
Bring your kids close, encourage them, love them, tell them that there is hope.
Ginger Allen, CBS 11 News.
Now, Kanakuk did not want to do an interview with us. Instead, it sent a statement to the I-Team saying, as soon as Kanakuk became aware of abuse, we took action, including immediate termination and reporting of Pete Newman. We continue to offer support to our victims.
That's a lie. They didn't take action.
They didn't take immediate action.
No, the first time he should have been gone. Correct?
Yes.
I mean, shit, dude. You're trying to prevent these things from
They
happening,
took
not let.
immediate action when it started getting out there, I guess.
Oh, yeah, as soon as it was public. But hey, we're going to put a cross up here next to this and make a statement.
That's what happens when people around them didn't stand up and say something, all for a freaking paycheck.
Exactly.
And what's the thing with, yeah, and what's the thing with the shoes hanging from the cross?
Oh, there is something about that with the telephone lines when there's a, I forget what was it? Do you remember?
Someone dies, right? Or child
Like a ghetto thing, I think.
No, it's not. There's a
No,
meaning.
it means something.
Yeah.
I think it was when someone goes missing. Was it that?
I don't know.
I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it does mean something.
And on to say our child.
Go ahead.
When I said ghetto thing, there's a lot. A lot more go missing in the ghetto.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And like Tom Hanks had the little shoes he'd find. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to that. That it gets missing kids.
But even if you have money, your kids are being targeted. If you can afford to pay the prices these camps are asking, right, then they're also targeting. I mean, this doesn't matter to them. It's just like the more kids, the merrier. And it's not every one of them. They pick one or two out of the crowd. It seems like these predators.
Well, like he said, the smaller, weaker ones.
The weaker ones.
That's
That's
what
it.
that kid was saying. That guy. Well, he's a guy, But
Protection plan, which contains over 340 identifiable and measurable protective elements, is integrated throughout the Kanakuk organization. Now, that was just part of the statement. I have put the entire statement on our website at cbsdfw.com. Ginger, one thing we know for sure, lots of moms and dads are watching tonight. They're about to send their kids to summer camp. And it's supposed to be an exciting, fun time, right? Summertime, being out. What kinds of what kinds of conversations should mom and dad be having with their kids and even with maybe other parents as they get ready to do this? Okay, we have some advice for you, and that advice actually comes straight from the group we put together a year ago. So from those victims and their alleged families, they say speak early and often about body parts, improper conversations, and sexual situations. Have talks about being manipulated. Teach your kids boundaries. And when it comes to those camps, look to see if they're accredited. And I can't stress this part enough. Don't hesitate to call the camp and ask about the history, background checks, staff training, and safety protocols. It's okay to make those calls and do that. It is. It's all really important stuff. Always wonderful work from the I-Team. Thanks, Ginger.
So there you go. There was a couple of clips that I found to go along with what we were bringing tonight to help with assist with the Sean Ryan show putting out with the camp going after Sean Ryan for bringing public known information out into the open.
Yeah, I tweeted both of them.
Camp Kanakuk.
Multiple reports of inappropriate behavior. In this podcast episode, Elizabeth Phillips shares her deeply personal and harrowing journey uncovering widespread child sexual abuse at Camp Kanakuk, one of the largest summer camps in the United States. She discusses the tragic abuse and suicide of her brother Trey, the systemic cover-ups enabled by the camp's leadership, the complicity of legal and insurance systems, and the legislative reform efforts she has spearheaded. Elizabeth also explores the broader issues within the summer camp industry, the intersections of faith and institutional sin, and ongoing challenges with law enforcement and advocacy. Throughout, she offers candid insights into healing, faith, and the urgent need for change. Elizabeth Phillips introduces herself as a Christian mother and advocate who has dedicated her life to reforming how the legal system treats survivors of child sexual abuse, a mission born from the abuse and suicide of her younger brother, Trey. Trey was sexually abused and likely trafficked by a senior leader at Camp Kanakuk, Pete Newman, whose criminal conviction left hundreds, possibly thousands, of victims. Elizabeth details the devastating impact of her brother's abuse and eventual suicide in 2019 at age 28, highlighting how a restrictive non-disclosure agreement, NDA, after his civil settlement enforced silence around the abuse. Labeling her journey as Operation Millstone, she explains her evolution from grieving sister to advocate fighting systemic failures that allow such abuse to persist, emphasizing the necessity of law reform to make real progress. Elizabeth paints Camp Kanakuk as a sprawling evangelical sports camp located in southwest Missouri's Ozarks, boasting over 500,000 alumni and thousands of staff. Founded in 1926, the camp operates under the long-standing leadership of the White family, in particular Joe White, CEO and public face of the organization. The camp is deeply enmeshed in evangelical culture, attracting privileged families across the country and boasting expensive, multi-tiered programming for children from young ages through adulthood. Elizabeth describes its complex structure, including segregation by race and age in separate camps, and its expansive reach that includes international mission trips and parallel ministries like Kids Across America and basketball academies. Despite its reputation, Kanakuk has long harbored a culture of abuse, which was systematically ignored and covered up by its leadership. Detailed accounts reveal years of abuse by key perpetrators, such as Pete Newman, who was arrested and sentenced to 3 life terms, but was protected for years by the camp's leadership despite multiple reports of inappropriate behavior. Elizabeth shares harrowing information about Newman's systemic abuse, including filming children in exploitative scenarios overseas, and Joe White's dismissive attitude, characterizing the abuse as mere boys being boys. She exposes how leadership disciplined Newman with trivial measures and continually failed to report or stop his behavior. The camp's Kanakuk Child Protection Plan, designed post-exposure, was criticized as inadequate and, disturbingly, distributes material from pedophiles' own manuals as training. Elizabeth highlights the complicity of camp counselors, networked therapists who betrayed confidential information, and the broader institutional failure that facilitated ongoing abuse. Elizabeth delves into the legal intricacies that further victimize survivors, focusing heavily on the widespread use of non-disclosure agreements in settlements to silence victims. Her brother's settlement included a restrictive NDA that prevented him from speaking publicly, and she outlines the coercive tactics survivors face to sign these agreements, sometimes under threat of case dismissal or legal sanctions. She critiques defense attorneys who enforce these silencing contracts, revealing them as standard practice despite the harm it inflicts on healing and public awareness. Elizabeth discusses ongoing fraud litigation involving Kanakuk and their attempts to federally sanction families resisting such NDAs, showcasing the tangled and adversarial landscape survivors must navigate. She also notes legislative victories to make these NDAs void or unenforceable, especially in Texas with Trey's Law. From grief to activism, Elizabeth has mobilized parents, survivors, and lawmakers to pass laws reforming civil statute of limitations and banning NDAs in child sexual abuse cases. She discusses her engagement with state legislatures in Texas, Missouri, and other states, facilitated by pro bono lobbyists and allies, to champion Trey's Law, which strengthens survivors' rights to seek justice without forced silence. Elizabeth underscores that the blocking efforts by powerful interests, including insurance companies, the camp's influence, and church organizations resisting change. Despite opposition, she celebrates key successes in ongoing campaigns, including the Campaign for Camp Safety, following the tragedy at Camp Mystic in Texas, where 27 young girls died in preventable flash floods. She describes her coalition building with grieving families to push for regulations mandating camp safety protocols and transparency. The episode exposes the financial underpinnings feeding this systemic abuse. Canac's transformation from a for-profit to a nonprofit and ultimately a church status entity served as tools to shield assets and evade accountability. The White family profited millions through complex LLCs and privileged arrangements while abuse proliferated. Elizabeth traces the flow of money into international ministries, including Haiti, where allegations of trafficking and organ harvesting are linked to partner organizations funded by Canac and its affiliates. She calls out the role of insurance companies in perpetuating the problem by prioritizing cost over safety and aiding the cover-up through collusion. Highlighting the way institutions like churches, camps, and nonprofits prioritize reputation and revenue over children's welfare, Elizabeth critiques what she calls the idols that demand sacrifice, the institutional sins that serve money and power at the expense of innocent lives. Elizabeth reflects deeply on the spiritual ramifications of the abuse occurring within a Christian evangelical context, including the betrayal of faith she and her brother experienced. She grapples with how leaders used religious rituals such as Joe White's emotional cross reenactments as tools for control and grooming, and how theological justifications minimized abuse under the guise of purity teachings. The betrayal by faith institutions magnified the trauma and hindered accountability. She shares perspectives of theologians framing this as institutional sin, whereby idols of ministry power replace true faith and demand sacrifice in the form of children's suffering. Elizabeth underscores her personal spiritual journey through grief and doubt and explains why she sees advocacy as part of Christ's call to bring healing and justice on earth. Elizabeth offers a critical view of law enforcement's handling of the broader Canac scandal. She recounts multiple interactions with the FBI, IRS, local sheriffs, and inspector generals, expressing frustration at the slow pace, limited scope, and jurisdictional entanglements that keep perpetrators protected. Despite solid evidence and hundreds of victims identified, the FBI has only engaged with a fraction of survivors, and the investigation appears stalled. Elizabeth suspects systemic ignorance and political inertia, calling attention to how victims repeatedly bear the burden of educating investigators and pushing for action. She describes ongoing efforts to elevate evidence and pressure agencies, but acknowledges the lack of meaningful prosecutions beyond a few high-profile cases. Beyond Kanakuk, Elizabeth draws attention to alarming cracks across the summer camp industry nationally, an approximately $70 billion enterprise involving millions of youth.
Right, this is what we just read, right? In the sheepdog, 70 billion with a B? I thought it was approximately $70 billion enterprise involving millions of youth.
Yeah, those camps make tons of money. Tons.
Damn. And just for a week?
I mean, I went to a camp with my church when I was younger, but they had us go out at night and said you got to go catch these little, I forgot what they called. They're some made up creature, like a little rodent type thing, and they all had little bags. And now that was weird because it was at night and they wanted to go out in the field, and 2 of the girls went missing. And we were all scared after that, but I never went in there because it was dark. It was creepy, and we had flashlights. But 2 of the little girls went missing, and I don't know what came of it. But we never went to a camp again after that.
Where was that at?
That was in Utah.
In Utah? At a camp, 2
It
little
was a
girls.
church camp, yes.
And they called you out to the woods to play a game, and girls went missing.
2 of the girls went missing.
So, like, wow.
Yeah, they went.
So
they were told
separate
to go out
everybody.
there, and we all had little flashlights, and you're supposed to catch these things, but they weren't even real things, right?
Right.
And it just, me and a couple other girls, we got something right. I think I was like 7 or 8. Just was creepy, and that some of them went out further, and yeah, they couldn't find them. So I don't know what happened with all that, but
Yeah, that's
$7
the,
million.
the
Say
Girl
again.
Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the camps. I mean, come on, you know
Yeah.
YMCA.
that too.
That's why he was singing that.
And why do you think he was singing that at all of his rallies? If you look, go read the lyrics. Like Miss Sheepdog was singing a song earlier today, and or no, we went back and looked at the old Super Bowl from 2012 with Madonna and Nicki Minaj, and I was like, how come nobody boycotted this demonic rituals? Like all of a sudden, it's like Bad Bunny's coming to the halftime show, and because he speaks Spanish and he's not from America, they want to turn it off.
Puerto
But you
Rico
didn't.
is America.
But you didn't turn it off when Madonna was out there performing rituals and stuff.
Yeah, Puerto Rico is part of America. So
But
he
she
is
was
an American.
she was singing the lyrics to a Madonna song, and she was, I used to sing this, and then when we re-examined the lyrics of Madonna's song, it talks about fallen angels or falling from the sky.
Yes.
There you on my knees, and they're like she's worshiping Lucifer through that song,
Yeah, I was
and
like,
people
wow,
are just,
I never
what song is that? In the midnight hour,
I have
you
to,
know
I
it.
have
Come
to
on,
listen to it again.
come on, Miss Sheepdog. You know the lyrics to the Madonna song.
Have Mickey sing it. Just kidding. Hey, so this morning, I put on a little TV for the dog and the bird, and just hit Tubi for them to watch something as I went to work, and I just saw Shrek play now, so I just hit it. I thought I'm making breakfast. It's funny how we hear songs later and you can you know pull things out. So I was listening to Shrek, and how you hear something and you turn. I looked at the TV. I'm like, did they just really say that? So it's crazy how you can dissect stuff, years later.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
10, 15 years later, man, you're like, what
Something
the
totally
heck?
different.
What the heck did we miss?
Exactly.
Start singing the songs and
He's like,
shit.
oh, you notice the
Watching the
words
show.
now.
Oh yeah. That's the bell's been lifted.
Yes. Like, holy.
You're not in
when
the trance no more. You're like, it's people make funny reaction videos about stuff like that and lyrics playing old songs, and then they're like, what?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
What?
It's
What were you
funny.
worshiping?
It's funny. It's funny when you could see stuff when you unplug from the matrix. You hear things and see things, and yeah, you catch a lot of stuff. You're like, wow, I can't believe they said that. Children are watching this.
Exactly.
Just a few more minutes on this.
Involving millions of youth. She reveals regulatory gaps affecting 15 states that do not require criminal background checks for camp staff, exempt faith-based camps from licensing, and permit dangerous operational lapses, such as lack of evacuation plans or adequate communication systems. The episode highlights the preventable tragedies like Camp Mystic's 2025 deaths during flash flooding and a related drowning incident at a California day camp linked to fraudulent lifeguard certifications. Elizabeth stresses the camp culture's prioritization of profit and cost-cutting over child safety, and the need for parents to be vigilant and demand accountability. She contrasts this with select camps that have implemented advanced abuse prevention protocols and advocates for better industry standards and transparency. The flooding and deaths at Camp Mystic, where 27 young girls drowned during a flash flood while the camp refused to evacuate them, mark an inflection point in Elizabeth's broader fight for camp safety reform. She recounts the courageous advocacy of grieving families who inspired legislators in Texas and beyond to fast-track laws mandating licensed camps, evacuation protocols, better communication at camps, and elimination of waivers and exemptions. She discusses the Heavens 27 Camp Safety Act and the creation of awareness campaigns and tools enabling parents to vet camps effectively. Despite Camp Mystic's reopening plans with one camper still missing, the tragedy galvanizes bipartisan reform efforts, fueling hope that these changes will protect future generations. Amid the darkness of institutional abuse and loss, Elizabeth shares touching stories of spiritual signs, personal resilience, and sources of hope that sustain her work. She expresses the belief that the spirits of lost loved ones communicate through meaningful coincidences and encourages maintaining joy alongside sorrow. Elizabeth recounts examples from her own family and friends about receiving symbolic messages from those passed away, underscoring her faith that the work she does honors her brother's legacy. She emphasizes the sacredness of survivors' stories and the healing found in community, while also acknowledging the ongoing struggle to find peace amid trauma. Her expressions of love, grief, and determination offer a profound glimpse into the human spirit confronting unimaginable darkness. Elizabeth connects the Kanakuk revelations to a wider cultural and systemic crisis involving child sexual abuse, trafficking, and institutional cover-ups across churches, schools, sports, and behavioral programs for troubled teens. She highlights ongoing reforms like the Stop Institutional Child Sexual Abuse Act, championed by survivors including Paris Hilton, and progressive moves in Texas, removing sovereign immunity protections for public schools in abuse cases. Elizabeth speaks of promising preventive innovations, including medical treatments under trial to reduce pedophilic urges, and pushes for much greater investment in child sexual abuse prevention research and philanthropy. Her foundation focuses on impact investing, guided by safeguarding principles, aiming to influence industries involved with children to adopt rigorous screening and safety standards. Elizabeth discusses her strategic engagement with media, including overcoming initial reluctance from large outlets and the importance of investigative journalism to expose facts that institutions wish to hide. She credits independent platforms like The Dispatch for paving the way before major newspapers stepped in. She also recounts the challenges of spreading awareness given the stigma and silence surrounding child sexual abuse. Elizabeth emphasizes the vital role of survivors, advocates, and public pressure in breaking the culture of silence and pushing legislative change. She calls on parents and communities to amplify messages and demand accountability for the protection of all children. Reflecting the risks she faces as a high-profile advocate confronting powerful and dangerous entities, Elizabeth mentions her acquisition of firearm training and everyday carry weapons for self-defense. This pragmatic approach underscores the often hidden dangers whistleblowers and survivors confront in seeking justice. It also speaks to the broader necessity for vigilance and protection in combating entrenched systems of abuse and corruption. Finally, Elizabeth shares exciting news of expanding the legislative victories with efforts to introduce Trey's Law federally and in multiple states, including Alabama and Oklahoma. She notes the growing alliances with senators such as Ted Cruz and Jill Brand, and the establishment of coalitions to spread camp safety reforms nationwide. With robust lobbying, survivor-led advocacy, and legal innovation, Elizabeth envisions a future where children's safety is prioritized above institutional protectionism and silence.
Elizabeth Phillips, welcome to the show.
So we're going full circle back to the Sean Ryan Show. Please go watch the 4-hour interview.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good. There's also another 20-minute one, shortened. Right? Educate yourself, do the research, make change, protect your kids and others. Somebody said, wait, where they at? So that came from, let me go back to the channel.
Multiple reports of
This came from, we'll put this link in the chat, from podcast summaries. It just summarizes different podcasts. If you want to check it out, let me put it in the chat real quick.
Subscribe.
Podcast summaries right here on YouTube. Get summarized podcast. May find them here on this. Sean Ryan Show, Camp Mystic, The Vice. We shared that out. That was 4 years ago from The Vice. I think it got an Emmy, 2022. So here after the Sean Ryan Show interview, check. See that? People doing their research, going and looking it up. So shout out to Danny Valentine 84 for saying, see what I'm saying? See how people go and do their own research and then leave a crumb for you to say, hey, I'm here.
Yes.
With you.
Oh, I remember. Well, actually, what Linda in the chat reminded me, they were called snipes, the mythical creatures in catching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
When will
called
you change?
snipes.
Snipes.
Yeah, they said they're these little furry things. I don't know. You're supposed to go catch them, but why would you go catch them if they don't exist? You go out in a dark field.
Oh wow.
It's kind of crazy.
What the hell was that?
But that's what I'm saying.
When will you change your party affiliation to Democrat?
I thought you knew. I vote with Republicans 91% of the time. And the 9% I don't, they're taking up for pedophiles, starting another war, or bankrupting our country.
When will you change your party affiliation to Democrat?
I thought you knew. I vote with Republicans 91% of the time. And the 9% I don't, they're taking up for pedophiles, starting another war, bankrupting our country.
Yeah, get you some of that.
You know who he looks like? He kind of looks like Marcus Luttrell.
Yeah, because if you look at him, I think he may have contacts now.
Marcus Luttrell has a twin too. Like clean him up a little and do his hair a little different. Looks like him.
So he votes with the Republicans 91% of the time. The other time that he doesn't is when then they're protecting pedophiles and starting new wars.
91% of the time. And the 9% I don't, they're taking up for pedophiles, starting another war, bankrupting our country.
All right, so as we were talking about all of the different abuse allegations that took place over the
Liberty
years,
Junior School.
talking about even in the schools, here's some of the reports.
She became close and befriended an 8th grader. That's when prosecutors say the grooming began. From student teacher to sex offender, 24-year-old Anna Dettori will now have to register as a Tier 2 sex offender for the next 25 years. Dettori had been a student teacher at Lakota's Liberty Junior School when she befriended a 14-year-old student.
This wasn't an older teenager, this was an 8th grade boy.
Prosecutors say the grooming behavior started while she was teaching, and it turned sexual after she left the district. According to a police report, Dettori picked up the teen from his father's house in the middle of the night, drove to a Monroe Park, and had sex with him. Dettori previously pleaded guilty to unlawful sexual conduct with a minor and disseminating matter harmful to minors.
I would just like to apologize to the victim and his family. I'm sincerely sorry for my actions.
Defense attorney J.R. Bernanz said his client is filled with remorse and sorrow and has been in treatment since last year. The victim's mother, who we are not identifying to protect the identity of the teenager, spoke at today's sentencing hearing.
And these kinds of things are happening far too often. My son is going to be affected by this for the rest of his life.
She added she believes Dettori is remorseful and does not believe she's a bad person, but did make bad choices.
I think that she made a series of bad choices. And I don't think that this should ruin her life. But I do think that it should affect her and her decisions for the rest of her life the same way it will my son.
And in addition to having to register as a sex offender, Dettori was sentenced to 5 years probation. She will also have to go
5 years probation.
To a treatment center, basically a sex offender treatment program.
A treatment program
At River City Correctional Center, and that program could take up to 6 months to complete. Reporting.
So 6 months to do a behavioral thing.
And they only say they're sorry when they get caught. Other than that, they're not sorry.
They wouldn't have done it. but yeah, it's not just men. There's women. There's a lot of women ones as well.
But the reason why
a lot of teacher ones.
Right. And I mean, Trump said it, the little boys are high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
Because they're getting, I mean, who goes to school and when you're 14 or 12 and if your teacher fondles you, it's high-fiving anyone.
Right.
I wouldn't have even known what the hell they were talking about.
Right.
I was, I don't know. I ain't even, my mom tried to teach me the facts of life stuff, and I ran out and went on my bicycle, and then all of a sudden it happened. I didn't know what the hell it was, and I had it for like 6 months straight. I had to stay home from school for like 2 weeks because I lost so much blood. I had no idea. I had no idea. I'm such a dumbass. I really am when it comes to this. Well, when it comes to a lot of stuff, but yeah, a lot of it. I don't think it should even be like anything brought up about that because it does something. I was in such a pardon you, it's just such a bubble. I don't even know if I would have if I had kids, if I would bring it up, maybe about anybody touching you, but you don't want to have them have to think like that. I would think, but I didn't know.
No, it's your job as a parent to be the overseer of that situation and be at that level while your kid enjoys their childhood.
Yeah.
You're supposed to parent the mother. You think the mother cub, when she has a cub out in nature, And she has a cub. Do you think she just leaves the cub alone to just let whatever devour it? The
Yeah.
mother and the father protect the child.
Yeah. And
So let
that's
the kid be a kid. However, you can still, still have like I asked my daughter one time. I said, while you're scrolling on your phone, because I didn't like her having a phone. That was her mom's decision.
Yeah.
I said, when you're scrolling Instagram or anything, do you see anything inappropriate, like that you shouldn't see? And she said, yes. I said, okay. That's why I didn't want her having a phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So your kids are exposed to all this shit, regardless of what if they got a phone in their hand, they're seeing shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're
Okay.
like way faster than you ever were.
Good. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm not right, but Glendia heard Bud burp. Bud burped.
Yeah, well, you can hear
it.
Join us tonight at 10 o'clock, everyone, on Bob Clausen.
And I'm Laura Monteverde. Meredith Hill, who goes by Lindsay, sits in the Polk County Detention Center where she awaits her bond hearing on Friday.
Gary Burton Jr. joining us now live from Pottsville with more on this. You're at the high school there where Hill taught, and there was also a district meeting tonight, not specifically about this, but this was brought up somewhat.
Yeah, with a first-degree sexual assault with a minor, arrest of 7th grade teacher Meredith Lindsay Hill was not on tonight's agenda. This meeting was about millage extensions, but I was able to speak with parents as they were headed inside about the arrest, and they just say that they can't believe that this happened. Lindsay Hill, a Pottsville 7th grade science teacher and head varsity tennis and softball coach, sits inside a jail cell after being charged with sexual assault with a minor.
This is lasting damage for that student, whether he knows it yet or not.
This is a bad situation for our kids and the families of the school district.
These parents are at Pottsville Junior High for a district meeting to discuss millage extensions, and there, a clear message was made by Superintendent Larry Duggar.
This meeting is solely about the millage extension. We will not discuss or not answer any questions about anything that's going on personnel in our district.
Superintendent Duggar says Pottsville School District will do the right thing involving Meredith Lindsay Hill. Some parents say the district dropped the ball.
There's been accusations going around for over a year that my child is aware of, and nobody's done anything.
And if the administration knew something about this before and didn't do anything, then I think that there should be some firings going on here.
According to reports, in 2022,
Like
there were nearly 350 public educators.
Did you catch it? Look at the hat. Nothing against him as an individual. It's a concerned parent here, but he's got a Freemason hat on. See that?
Yeah.
I think that there should be some firings going on here.
According to reports, in 2022, there were nearly 350 public educators arrested on child sex-related crimes in the U.S.
I know that they do background checks on these people, but maybe it's time for some psychological evaluations to go along with
There
that.
you go.
Oh, gee whiz, you can totally see it then.
Investigating Hill, including the Arkansas Crimes Against Women and Children Division, who notified Pottsville police on Friday, January 13th. Parents say they had to find out through social media.
That was very frustrating that we aren't privileged to know this, and that they didn't take the courtesy to call the parents and say, we are aware of this, and we're sorry that this has happened on our watch.
So it seems like the handling of these situations seems to be the common theme here. And it isn't new. You can go to Law and Crime on YouTube right here as well. And it's nothing but it's just, you can watch case by case, and it's not just women. It's also female teachers targeting female students as well. It's not just male boys.
Yeah,
and it's not just female teachers. It could be male teachers.
This has got to be like a whack-a-mole thing where you just you see it, you say something, you see it, you say something. I've always been one to speak up. I mean, I'm not speaking up about every little thing, but if you see something, you have to say something. I personally can't understand it when people don't speak up. So I'm totally the opposite way. Yeah, but I mean, you guys are, like that too. You're like, something happens, you're going to say something. You're not going to sit back.
Yeah. And a lot of people, when they do say something, it's flipped on them like it was their fault.
There you go, cheating.
Right. So that's why they usually get shut down. Police
Look,
kind of drug
I'm
the
still, it's something you
interview.
have to do. You have to do it.
Yeah,
It's not a
but
choice. Like if something comes back at you, it's like, you know what? I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm probably going to do more. So, um, yeah, it's just something I can't understand it when people can't do it. I go totally the opposite way, and hopefully, people hear and they're like, yeah, next time I will stand up or whatever. I just don't know
well,
any other way.
a lot of them do. I mean, they go to authorities to tell them, then they're either found not credible, or the story gets flipped on them, right? So, but with all these stories coming out, then it will have people start talking more.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
no,
real quick, I'm sorry to
but
interrupt there. Did you see that sheep with the fish? That was a good inside edition right there. If you looked on the bottom left, but yeah. Hey, that was a good catch on the Masonic
Yeah.
baseball, the baseball cap there. I mean,
Right.
you wonder, it's like everything's scripted. Like that guy, I mean, that's a dead giveaway right there, right? I mean, am I wrong with this? Like, it's that guy with
well, not
the,
you don't want to think everything
Well,
is
no,
right.
a lot of the Masons, they are in front of the cameras, right? There's not all of them are bad,
Right,
right? There's
right.
yeah.
right.
But I mean, to
So
see that on the news with that Masonic hat, I mean,
Yeah,
right.
that's just, I would question everything. We're definitely
yeah.
being observing. So,
Oh yeah.
Just local things aren't scripted. I'm talking about on your politics, your Hollywood. That's all. Like the news is decided a year or so in advance, and we all think this is happening natural.
Right. And then what they say, you can't think. Not all the news is fake,
No,
but they tend to not cover everything, or push some stories aside, right? Especially if it involves high profile people or
see what happens when your kid has a phone and their teacher has a phone and they got each other's numbers. You get explicit photos, videos, and text.
Explicit photos, videos, and texts. Cops say she and the boy even had sex in her classroom.
Damn, son.
And her car. Now there's controversy over what some see as an incredibly light sentence. Prosecutors
See,
asked for a prison term.
light sentences like across the board. Nobody's scared to not do it. They haven't made an example of anyone. It's sad.
Of as much as 40 years. But on sentencing day this week, all the teacher got was 60 days.
Dude, keep in mind, Charles Manson did life in prison and he didn't even murder anybody.
no.
Think about that.
That's right.
It's really upsetting.
Jennifer Krake's daughter was in Bodine's social studies class at the Tomball Intermediate School outside Houston.
To
Yeah,
find
this
out
was
that
local for me.
she was only given 60 days, it's unbelievable. And I think our community deserves answers for why that sentence was decided.
Bodine's victim and his mother were said to be very upset with the outcome. Two questions are being raised. Did Bodine get so little time because she is attractive? And
See? Because she is attractive, which takes me back to the comment, right, that Trump made earlier about, the little boys high-fiving or because they're attractive, they're hot, 14-year-old boys, they weren't complaining.
because she's a woman. Do you think she was given she is attractive? And did Bodine get so little?
Look, you wouldn't, guys,
You would never think.
you would never think, right? Everyone thinks of a pedo or somebody that we consider having sex with minors to look a certain way, right? There's something wrong. Like the man said, we need some psychological evaluations with teachers, hell, doctors, nurses. Hell, you can even do law enforcement. You can start there too.
Time because she is attractive? and because she's a woman.
Do you think she was given such a light sentence because she is a woman?
I really have no idea.
Bodine is divorced. She recently gave birth to a baby whose father is described as her new boyfriend.
All right, bye guys.
Alrighty. All right. So that takes me back, right, to what we played earlier with this. This is
Now, speaking of beauty contests, you want
and Trump's just telling you what the mindset of the people are.
Yeah.
Our morals. This is where we're at. This is a reflection of us.
In flack, I think a lot of people agree with it.
John Edwards not guilty. What do you think?
Well, I think it was a very tough case for the government of his at all. Very, very tough case that should not have been brought.
Students, teachers having sex with their. Have you heard about all these teachers having sex with their students? Have you heard about all these teachers having sex with their students? Have you heard about all these teachers having sex with their students? Is this not crazy? What is going on?
Well, I don't think the male students have been hurt by it. In fact, they're going around bragging about it, as I understand it. So, it's. I don't see a lot of damage done.
Fair enough.
But it's a very unusual situation. I would say her husband cannot be happy.
Oh, you are bad. If she still.
All right. Let's bring it full circle. I think that'll be it for tonight as far as all this concerned. I just wanted to show you how this is, how we got here. Right? The fathers didn't say anything. I'm guessing because maybe it wasn't no outcry because these are all like attractive women, all the way down.
Oh yeah, they made that. There was a movie about that. Remember that one teacher that married was having an affair with a student, and then she married him, and they have children together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's even on Fox. I mean, everyone's
She was
been
like
notified.
14, I think. She was married.
So everybody's like, "Where's the outcry?" I don't know. You tell me. I guess everyone's dumb.
They threw it in our face for years, which everyone ignored it because I guess maybe there were women. Yeah, her name was Mary Lou. That's it.
Mary Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was it?
With the Polynesian kid. I forget her last name.
You want to look that up?
Yeah.
Here. Mary Lou. What?
I don't know. Her
Retton.
last- That's it. Mary Lou Retton. I think that's it.
Oh Lord, don't have me fooling. Is it a Olympics person?
No,
Okay.
that's not it. Mary Lou.
Mary Lou, and what did she do?
She was a teacher.
What did Mary Lou
that
do?
had, sexual.
Hey, hold on. It's time for this.
Oh, there we go. He's got the. He's here. Anywhere in this?
Yeah, Letourneau.
Mary
That's
Kay
her.
Letourneau.
Mary Kay.
Oh, that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Good.
They had a movie.
Yes.
They made a movie.
What do
out
y'all
of it.
mean that nobody knew about this? It's all over the internet.
They even made
This was
movie
okay.
out of it and everything.
And everybody's up in arms
She
because it
was like 14. I mean, he was like 14, and she was married,
she died.
having an affair with him.
She died 5 years ago.
58.
Yeah.
Cancer. Wow.
From teacher to wife.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute documentary. Here's
Remember, she was a teacher sent to prison for having sex with a 13-year-old student. Then they married, started a family. It's all told in a new documentary. Diana Sater here with the details. Hey, Diane.
George, so many people have wondered about this relationship. Now, Mary Kay Letourneau is finally giving viewers an inside look
Look,
at her
they turned it into
controversial
a
life.
reality.
and
They
have-
turned this into a reality TV show psyop,
Yeah.
which they wanted to see how the reaction of the people would be. Would it be an outrage? Okay, they're not outraged about this. All right, let's show them even more decrepit shit.
Right.
Are they outraged about this? Nope.
Nope.
Then what is it? Then they right. So it seems like
How she's doing now.
it's a reality TV show.
Am I sorry he's the father of my children and that we're married and this is
the man of my life? No, I'm not.
More than 20 years since the scandal that shocked the nation.
A 35-year-old teacher who had sex with a 13-year-old sixth grader sentenced to 80 days in prison.
Mary Kay Letourneau, the then married mother of 4 who pled guilty to raping her 13-year-old former student, Billy Fulau, is hoping to set the record straight in a new A&E Network biography special called Mary Kay Letourneau Autobiography.
First of all, I was a teacher, and Billy was once a student, but there was nothing going on at all when he was a student of mine.
Letourneau got pregnant and delivered Fulau's baby girl before serving her 80-day prison sentence. Although the judge ordered her to stay away from him upon her release, she violated her parole.
I love him, and he was waiting for my call.
That was pretty much the plan to get back together and see each other.
Letourneau was sent back to jail for 7 years, where she gave birth to another daughter. After serving her sentence, the couple got married and blended their families.
My oldest children, they've come to know Billy, and they've always known me. Now they're grown-ups and they have independent lives, but in the first years, they wanted to be together.
Now a paralegal, Letourneau maintains she never knew she was doing anything illegal when she started the affair, claiming it was consensual, even though the age of consent was, and still is, 16. And she says stories of other teachers who have since been convicted for relationships with underage students baffle her.
It's just that any teacher, after what happened to me, would go there.
So
At least
it baffles her. They're trying to normalize this, right?
They were trying to normalize it then,
Yes.
probably knowing this was going to come up later.
Oh, yeah.
And that the public would accept it.
Right.
Right. Like, oh, well, yeah, they had a really good relationship.
Oh, it looks like love sees no color, no age. Love sees no age.
That's what I think they were trying to do.
I can say that I did not know that it was a lie, and you knew.
But she didn't have no moral compass. That's why I say you need a psyche valve.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's something a little, you know.
After my case, you knew.
Man, you better run.
And in 2017,
And it worked, obviously. Nobody really said anything. And it continued in the schools with male and female.
A disturbing new trend happening in schools across America. Female teachers taking advantage of underage male students and committing sexual assault against them. We're noticing a pattern with many of these cases. They're using iPhones and social media in order to target the victim. Take 24-year-old Ricky Lynn Laughlin, for example. She worked as a special ed teacher in Missouri when she allegedly sent naked pictures and videos of herself to a 16-year-old student over Snapchat and then asked him to send pictures of himself in return. And then things escalated. He says Ricky kissed him and invited him over to her house to have sex while her husband was out of town. And Ricky was charged with 6 different felonies. 27-year-old Reagan Anderson, a former teacher and coach from South Carolina, is facing 2 counts of sexual battery on a student. She allegedly used Snapchat to send the teen naked photos. And then there's 38-year-old Lydia Pinto. Lydia was a high school gym teacher and coach, and the victim reported Lydia abused him when he was around 14 and continued doing so until his senior year. So what's going on here? Joining me now, host of Takedown with Chris Hansen and the Predators I've Caught podcast, Chris Hansen. Why is this trend seemingly picking back up again now?
I think you have better reporting, Jesse. I think you have awareness on the part of victims who are no longer as afraid as they once were to come forward. And I think you have parents who see suspicious behavior on the part of their children, then they can check cell phones, iPads, all kinds of other digital media, and the evidence is right there. These are criminals, these female teacher predators, but they're not smart criminals, and they leave a digital footprint.
Some are suggesting because of the COVID pandemic, people were remote for so long. Now all these teachers are back in the class with the students, and they just can't control themselves.
You know, one of the questions I'm asked most frequently about our predator investigations, do you find women predators? And in our cases, we do not, because these are guys who go online, they like to meet a stranger, a child, groom them, and then meet for sex. In female predator cases, they don't like the anonymity. They like to know their victim. So this is a case where they see their victim, they have power and control over their victim, and they're reliving this fantasy. And what we're also seeing is a lot of fetish porn involving teacher-student sex. And so if you're into this sort of thing, how long is it going to be before the fantasy is no longer good and you have to act out on it? And that's what we're seeing now.
That's interesting that the women want the intimacy and the men want the anonymity. Tell us about your series now, because I was a huge fan.
What he's saying is they have fetish porn where with the teachers and students take fetish porn. So then they act that out, right? So they have.
Hey, Sheep, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is why is like this with the Epstein and like, but mainly why is this coming out now? I just have a question. Like, why is this all this?
Why is what?
So, all this targeting female teachers and what we're talking
Going
about
on
right
for
now.
decades.
What's that?
It's been going on for decades, and
No,
nobody's
I know it's
outraged.
been going on for decades, but why is it like
But
hot in the news now? Is it hot in the news because we're sharing it, or is it like, is this like Jesse Waters? Is this recorded yesterday or something? Or
no, this was a couple of years ago.
oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
I
this
got
is
you.
coming on now. I got you. I see
Okay,
what you're saying.
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
thinking
no,
like,
I'm just
okay,
sharing you. I'm just sharing with you. This isn't nothing new. What we're going through today. This was 2 years ago, so it
right?
hasn't been coming out now. It's just been ignored, time and time and time and time. And now here we are with the Epstein files, and everyone's acting like
I got
nobody
you.
has evidence of anything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's
I just wanted
plenty.
to know for my own. I wanted to know for my own personal, thing
Yeah,
because I'm starting to hear a lot of different stuff, and I'm like, why is this like hot and stuff? So I just wanted to make
it's
sure
hot
that
'cause
this
I'm making
wasn't.
it hot.
oh,
That's
oh,
hot
hot,
because I'm
oh,
bringing
hot and
attention to
bothered. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I gotta find the one.
it.
I'll show you guys at the end of the show.
Okay.
Of To Catch a Predator.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. For 20 years now, we've been going after men who try to meet and sexually assault children online. In the new takedown.
And it's not just Chris Hansen, it's even independent people are taking action and doing online investigations and setting people up and exposing them. And they come from all different backgrounds. So the point of this was to just point out that um, with the Sean Ryan show and how he was threatened to cease and desist, and he wants discovery. And it started with me showing that this stuff, and even the stuff that he's talking about on his show, is public information, right? But these NDAs and everything that's going on, even with the Epstein stuff,
Lawyers
with the secret
blocking it,
deals, lawyers blocking
threatening
it,
people.
Hush, whatever law firm that is, Hush Law Firm.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Hush Blackwater or black something?
Blackwell.
Blackwell?
Blackwell.
Blackwell, that's it. A black well. What the hell's in the bottom of a black well? The pits of hell.
It's dark.
So this is nothing new. It's just it's an epidemic, and that's why we are where we're at, because we have a little turned a blind eye to it when it comes to 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds. So now they went down to 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 2-year-olds, babies, to see what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do? How we're gonna react? Are we that far gone? And I think that's why they're bringing in all this AI technocracy and shit.
GLENDIA said,
Surveillance.
hush blackmail.
Hush blackmail. There you go.
Right? Blackmail and hush money. Right? That's it. Like GLENDIA said, I think it's all exposure. The Epstein files, the world's presidents, etc.
Yeah.
Dude.
And make sure I got all this real quick. That's it. Yeah. So I'm just taking it with the Epstein files and everything I'm seeing in there, the designer babies, the pizza comments, different things like that.
Just to bring it all
The
forward.
Wayfair stuff with the furniture sales and stuff like that. And if you're not going to release I can't have access to everything that they have on Epstein, but I do have access to what's happening local. And I think that's where our battle is right now.
Yeah.
While this Epstein shit
And
plays
they're
out.
also saying on the Epstein files, when you go look at something, they're noticing there's some names that are there that get also need to get pulled. So I'm thinking that they're letting see how the public reacts as these names get dropped, right? And some of them are in there that I noticed that are just because it's like they had to go through every one of his emails. So some people are just named in the emails, but so far no connection. And some connection.
Release of the 3 million Epstein files makes no sense to me. Who was in charge of redacting what? Why does Trump's DOJ release Epstein files with only Trump and the people within his cabinet not redacted from the files? Are you picking that out yet? Marco Rubio's in there. Howard Lutnick's asking Epstein about how many kids are going to be on the island and when. Trump all over in there with accusations. And that's a bunch of the Trump shit is all just fucking people calling into a hotline and just leaving fucking wild shit. But then you got in there a big old fucking section that Jared Kushner is the brains behind Trump's fucking entire presidency all the way back to 2016, and he is Trump's Mossad handler. Like, okay, well, why would Trump's DOJ release that? If Trump's DOJ is in charge of redacting this shit, why are you redacting out the names of the people who Jeffrey Epstein was Jeffrey Epstein was signing off on hits. He's like, there's emails in there. Yep, go ahead and kill that guy. He lied to me and he lied to you. But we don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is talking to, and we don't know who they're saying, yeah, kill that guy. Like, why are you redacting out that shit? Why is George Bush Sr. not redacted out about raping a kid and killing him? Like, the rape of the kids is the least of the fucking darkest shit in there, right? Like, they're not just raping them, they're torturing them, killing them, eating them, drinking their blood. Like, this is full-on child sacrifice, ancient spiritual rituals of child sacrifice to Baal and Marduk. Like, that's these motherfuckers. They are. This is that evil. And Israel's all over the motherfucker. Like, that shit's not up for debate anymore. So clearly Israel owns most of our government. So why didn't that shit get redacted out of there? Why is that getting dumped? What is the purpose of this? Just to cause chaos? Because that's what it's going to do. Like, there's a reporter in there. The DOJ is like holding a press conference. The reporter asks him, are we going to see any accountability for these men that have harmed these small children? And the DOJ guy's like, what are you talking about? Oh, there's no evidence of that in there. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
See, when he said there was no evidence of anything like that, that's why I'm bringing what I'm bringing tonight.
And that's what
Because if we got evidence.
read the other day on the chat, that they're saying that although the stuff in there is really bad, they don't plan on prosecuting anybody. Like, what the hell? But yeah, like he was talking about, the DOJ document dumps confirmed Epstein had communications with former White House advisors, but none of the advisors are identified. No roles, titles, or initials are even provided. They're all heavily redacted.
We reading the same things? Are you fucking with me here? What the fuck is going on? And like, maybe it is just all circumstantial evidence. Bill Gates and his fucking tiny STD riddled wiener. Why the fuck is that shit in there? Why is Bill Gates not redacted? Alan Dershowitz in there as another Mossad handler. Like, shit we already knew, and Alan Dershowitz denying that shit up and down. And then there's in there that like he loves fucking Mossad and he wants to be a bigger Mossad spy. And it's like, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of telling us all this? Because all it does is confirm everybody's worst fears and thoughts and conspiracies about Israel. Like, these motherfuckers are evil. They're blackmailing pretty much every politician, every businessman. You know who's not in the fucking any of these Epstein files? Anyone who's ever been called anti-Semitic. There is zero anti-Semitic people in the Epstein file. And really from this, I'm guessing the list I need to see is who's not in the Epstein file. What do you got, like 10, 20 people from the government? It's going to be a short fucking list. So what do we do about all this? What is there to be done from this abject chaos? Like, it's both parties, it's all of them. It's every single fucking corporate leader. Like, the motherfucker was into it all. And like, raping kids ain't even fucking a tiny part of the worst of it. These motherfuckers are so sick, and some of that shit in there, people won't even be able to fucking handle that. They're already blocking it out. They're like, they're eating kids, and I've seen people in the comments, no, they're not. Like, it's fucking, there's pictures of it. There are fucking pictures they released of that shit. War with Iran, the fucking stock market's tanking, crypto is fucking still eating the fucking shorts, gold, silver drops, that all fucking says there's some kickoff with Iran. Is this just like drive it to chaos? Like the left is kicking off fucking protests in every single fucking city. They're still got the armada headed towards Iran. Trump's still making threats with that. Like we are headed towards full-on chaos for the purpose of what? Drive us to what? Drive us to insanity? What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? You dump all that shit without any accountability. If there was gonna be accountability, they already had this shit. They already would have arrested somebody instead of just dumping the fucking files. You understand how that works? So clearly they have zero interest in arresting anybody. The DOJ is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Evidence of child abuse in the Epstein files? What? Gonna be accountability, they already had this shit. They already would have arrested somebody instead of just dumping.
All right, that's what Miss Sheepdog said. They have no
plan.
They're saying they don't even have nothing, man.
And
Just
if-
emails.
If you
Just
go,
hanging out with Epstein doesn't mean it's not illegal.
if you go through the files, that's unbelievable that they would find that none of it's prosecutable. But here's one of the things I found about Jared Kushner in there. Jared Kushner is explicitly mentioned in the recently released Epstein files, but only in the form of unverified allegations per the FBI 2020 memorandum. These claims come from a single confidential source. Okay, they said what the file says is a declassified FBI memo included in the Epstein documents release contains allegations involving Jared Kushner, Donald Trump, Israeli intelligence, and the Shabbat Lubavitch. The memo's source claims Kushner had influence over Trump's organization and presidency and suggested links to foreign intelligence. Another report summarizing the same memo described Kushner as the real brains behind Trump's operation. Again, both based solely on the confidential sources' statements.
Fucking city. They're still got the armada headed towards Iran. Trump's still making threats with that. Like,
Oh yeah, the Iran thing's gonna play out.
Yeah, I think
now
they're-
that he just told his DOJ, don't worry about this Epstein shit.
I think they're using that as leverage to release the blackmail.
Yeah.
You better release it or do something.
we are headed
with each other, with all the different countries threatening this, threatening that, the terror force, all that. Yeah.
towards full-on chaos for the purpose of what? Drive us to what? Drive us to insanity? What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? You dump all that shit without any accountability. If there was gonna be accountability, they already had this shit. They already would have arrested somebody instead of just dumping the fucking files. You understand how that works? So clearly they have zero interest in arresting anybody. The DOJ is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Evidence of child abuse in the Epstein files? What? You're like, it's upside down, fucking clown world, and nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. This is just going to be chaos. This is just going to be chaos. So prepare yourselves for the fucking chaos. Trust no one. I don't even know what to tell you beyond that. Good luck. Long live the Republic.
All right. Y'all know the weather mods, right?
Okay. I mean, and then Howard Letnick is also listed in the Epstein files. He's the current White House Secretary of Commerce, cabinet level position. He oversees U.S. economic policy related to trade, industry, technology, managing agencies such as Census Bureau, NOAA.
Right here.
NOAA is the weather stuff. And International Trade Administration, advising the president on economic competitive and commercial strategy. Okay, he is involved in the newly released Epstein documents, include email exchanges showing that Lutnick had more contact with Jeffrey Epstein than he had previously acknowledged publicly. In 2012, he visited to Epstein's private island, planned a trip to Little St. James with friends and families, requested the island's coordinates for his boat captain, coordinated the visit through Epstein's assistant. This places him on the island 4 years after Epstein's 2008 conviction. Continued communication after the 2008 ongoing email contacts, coordination of travel and social plans, and friendly exchanges inconsistent with what his earlier public stated. So there's also, I try to look because there's flight logs, but people forget there was also the submarines and boats. And apparently there was tons of boats that went there, yachts and stuff to his island as well, which of course there would be no log on either one of those. Submarines or boat or yachts, right? So just because they said they didn't fly there doesn't mean they didn't take another way. Just saying.
Right. That's why I'm saying when they were asked, well, did you fly on the Epstein's plane? Right? To the island?
It was George Clooney and Obama that were on the boat, right? The picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's you can't even. They didn't even look at those. The FBI assistant didn't even look at. They only looked at flight logs. That's that.
Right. I'll just look at the little thing and just look it up something quick.
But there's a lot of people still going through it. Yeah, Steve Bannon is also mentioned in the newly released Epstein documents. Multiple credit reports confirm the files included extensive communications between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein. Direct communications with Epstein in the new DOJ includes texts and messages, emails, exchanges between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey. Let's see. The documents detail extensive exchanges, worked on political influence operations in Europe. Yeah, so, about the border world.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that Bannon thing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was talking with Epstein on the projects, including a private border wall effort and political influence campaign. Why would he be doing that with Jeffrey Epstein? Anyway, so yeah, that's crazy.
I just thought it was strange when he flew Epstein's plane to an event. Donald Trump is using Jeffrey Epstein's old jet.
Is Trump Epstein?
Yeah, I don't. That's what it's.
I mean, think about
Epstein's
it. Think
Trump.
about that movie,
Trump's
Face
Epstein.
Off.
He's not even supposed to be on any other plane. Like, that's just
I know it didn't even make sense. But this was
No.
before he was president. According Joe Biden was president.
All right.
Or they're sending decoded messages to one another. I don't know.
Right. But
Who knows?
if you think about the movie Silence of the Lamb, right? Trump mentions Hannibal Lecter, right? What they do with Hannibal Lecter, they got him, and they used him to catch all the other ones, right? So is that what they're doing with Epstein? Is he still alive, and they're using him to because you have to have a criminal mind to catch criminals, right? So that movie.
It's like the game of Clue, right? Like the game of Clue, Trump did it in the kitchen with a plane. No, it's kidding.
Yes. So if you think about it, are they using him to bait in all the rest, or tell them how they operate, how these sickos operate? You'd have to have a sicko to know what a sicko does and how they operate.
Yeah, ask the cops, judges, lawyers.
Yep.
Yeah, just like if you're a really good hacker, the FBI will hire you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm starting to think that's exactly what they did. They have him, he's alive, and they used him to catch the rest.
All right. So does the NOAA do the weather mods?
Noah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what that one guy was talking about. The
Cloud seeding and stuff like
cloud
that.
seeding.
And
Hold on.
Lutnick's in charge of that.
He oversees it, yes.
Wow. Wow. So Epstein's neighbor oversees our weather monitor, NOAA.
Let me find out.
Does that make any sense to y'all? Is that what kind? Was this a clown world or what? Where we live? What's going on here?
Yeah,
So that was the best man for the job, right?
It's science for weather, oceans, climate, and atmosphere. Right? It understands and predicts weather. Right? It
Yeah.
informs the public and manages and protects coastal and marine ecosystems. So it's the National Weather Service. There's no
new artificial intelligence weather models.
Meteorologists.
As the year closes, we're talking about a milestone, NOAA's release of new artificial intelligence weather models.
Meteorologist Melissa Nord spoke with a key model developer on how this release is only the beginning of weather forecasting in the future.
This is a game-changing, once-in-a-career technology that we are just now scratching the surface of its potential.
3 new machine learning models were developed by NOAA in record speed.
We went from an idea for an implementation to operations in less than 6 months, which is almost unheard of.
And the speed doesn't stop there.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that real quick. We're not going to go down the whole NOAA thing. You can go watch that.
But see, they also oversee
It's also-
satellite and data services and marine and aviation. Right? So if they're all taking boats and stuff, maybe they can block out their coordinates where they're going.
Right. We're doing a little live research there for you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We are 2.5 hours in. We're going a bit longer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody goes to bed with good thoughts and high frequency, because we did talk about some stuff, and my heart's out there, and I just want to make sure everybody goes to bed with a big smile on their face, because sometimes when we talk about stuff like this, I get a little kind of quiet, but I just want to make sure everybody does that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And then to just, I'm a goofball sometimes. I got the little buttons. Here's one more for you real quick.
There you go.
Hold on, there's one more, but I gotta find it. Be right back. Okay, this is order in the court.
Oh, that's
I
order.
like that.
So we have Radiate Vitality Naturally, Mycobi Beauty plus Longevity Gel is a revolutionary dual-purpose gel designed to support beauty, skin, and graceful aging. Graceful aging. Whether massaged into the skin or scalp or stirred into your morning smoothie or pet food, this plant-powered gel delivers a concentrated dose of nature's most powerful and helpful ingredients, making it a truly universal approach to address aging and cellular renewal. You can get that at sheepdogspets.com.
Yes. Put it in your smoothie, dog food, or your skin. It's supposed to be really awesome. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to.
Okay. So, formulated with proprietary processes, purified structured water for optimal absorption, Mycobi Beauty Longevity Gel combines a curated blend of organic botanicals, adaptogenic mushrooms, and advanced hydration technology to nourish the skin, support connective tissue, and promote collagen production, and help protect against the effects of time and environmental stress.
It's got shiitake, reishi, and Irish sea moss. They're really great. Their products, all their products are awesome. Check us out.
Get your sea moss.
It's your sea moss. That stuff is awesome.
If you would like to show your love and appreciation for our time and work and would like to support our continued work, please check the links in the description below of the videos. Thank you very much. And we are going to roll on out of here. We're going to play a beautiful song written by GLENDIA via the Zuni. Called the song is called "Cry." Right. So this is the artwork that she was talking about with the shoe and what it meant to and what it means. So,
And everybody have a good night. And that's all, folks.
I like that. Thank you, Cheating. Thank you, Nadine, for joining us tonight. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Love y'all.
They were flown to hidden places, far from every watchful eye, to an island built for secrets, where the rich could walk the line. We were told it was a rumor, just a story, just a lie, till the files cracked open silence and the truth refused to die. There are things I can't describe here, things no child should ever face, but pretending we don't know now is how monsters keep their place. So cry for the ones who never got to grow, cry for the truth the powerful still own, cry for the child who's stolen out of sight and promise their shadows will bring this to light. Cry for the innocence money tried to erase, for the flights and the files and the cold disgrace. Cry because justice must finally remain strong enough to speak what the world won't name. Power shielded every predator, and the door stayed sealed and tight, while the children prayed for mercy in a world that stole their night. There were lists of who was flying, names the headlines danced around, and every page is a reminder of the truth they tried to drown. Is a debt the world still owes. So cry for the ones who never got to grow, cry for the truth the powerful still owe, cry for the childhood justice must finally remain strong enough to speak what the world won't name. If justice had a heartbeat, it would thunder through the lies. If truth could break the silence, it would echo through the skies. And though the world looked away, though the wealthy hid their sins, the children deserve protection and a world that fought for them. I can't undo the damage, neither can they, but I can sing their story in a way that makes truth stay. Not with details meant for darkness, not with fear or whispered blame, but with courage loud enough to expose the hidden game. Cry for the ones who never got to grow. Cry for the truth, the powerful still own. Cry for the childhood stolen out of sight, and promise their shadows will bring this to light. Cry for the innocence money try to erase. Ranks and the files and the cold disgrace. Cry because justice must finally remain strong enough to speak what the world won't name. May their stories in the silence, may their memories guide our hands, and may the world finally listen to the truth.